Welcome to another episode of The Bastard Sermon. This is one of your three hosts, Cody Hucker,
Patrick Seta,
and Luke Young.
and today we have on Q from the fucking Obnoxious Boot. What's up?
Give it up!
Yes!
Oh yeah!
So much yelling in my ears.
I hope you enjoy that. I hope you do. You should be used to that with all the music you're involved with.
No, usually I just can't hear anything.
Do you have like a constant ringing in your ears at all times?
Yes, but it has nothing to do with music. It has to do with 15 years working at UPS and hearing those fucking belts like above my head.
Wait, is that just implanted in your head, or do you have tinnitus from it?
I think it's just implanted in my head. Isn't tinnitus in your elbow?
Or in tendons?
I thought that tinnitus was the
Google that
ringing,
shit.
the constant ringing inside of your ears that you get after you collect hearing damage. But I could be definitely wrong. Let me look it up. I think you're thinking of
Tendinitis, tinnitus.
Tendinitis.
I'm actually thinking of a commercial from back in the day when I was a kid. Tinactin, tough actin, Tinactin.
Oh yeah.
Mike Ditka.
Damn.
All right, it says tinnitus is the perception of noise or ringing in the ears, a common problem. Tinnitus affects 1 in 5 people. Tinnitus isn't a condition in itself. It's a symptom of an underlying condition, such as age-related hearing loss, ear injury, or circulatory system disorder.
I don't think I have that because I can't hear anything, so I can't even hear the ringing that probably is there.
Right on.
Dude, I have a constant ringing in my ear. It's so subtle, but when it's like dead quiet somewhere, I can fucking hear it, and it's like, what the fuck?
I don't know. You would think I would have that, though, after, I've been booking shows for 23 years, so.
We're having technical issues. I'm sorry. The mouse is a little
I have another
wonky.
mouse.
Is there any way we can get that mouse?
Yeah.
And or some batteries, one or the other. But anyways, so Q, you play for the Obnoxious Boot. Do you want to get into that right away?
The Obnoxious Boot is just me.
Okay.
Me and a buddy, actually Brandon, he writes music, but I might actually be writing music with new people here soon along with him. We've put out 3 EPs in the last 4 years. For the first 2.5 years, I would say I really focused on getting it recognized, because a lot of people are just like, your tracks are on your phone, you don't have a band, this is fucking dumb, why should I support you? And what I really wanted to do was kind of create a positive message with the music I was trying to do, and just go out there. What I really wanted to do was just a spoken word set, and I tried that right before starting the Obnoxious Boot, and I have way too bad ADD to just talk for straight 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So with the way the Obnoxious Boot is live, I'll talk for 2 minutes and then about something serious, and then play a song, and then 2 more minutes, and then play a song, and then go with it like that.
Why is the laptop doing this?
Because it's setting up a driver. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's
Keep going.
okay. So, I still have plenty of even friends that don't take it seriously and don't think that it's a serious thing, and they think yo, we believe in everything you say, but you're still up there playing without a band, so this is still kind of a joke. But I played Warped Tour this year. I did 3 longer than a week tours. I plan on doing probably 9 or 10 in 2019. Putting out a full length. If the full length is, I kind of already signed a contract with a label.
Oh fuck yeah! Can you talk about it?
Not really. I can just say I signed a contract with a label for distribution, and I have to get them a record by March 1st. And if they like it, then it gets distributed. And if they don't like it, then I'll just put it out myself. It's not that big of a deal. The last 2 records I put out, one was in April of 2015, and the other, or 2016, and the other was April of 2017. Both those records went aluminum. They sold 1,000 copies. I made that up myself.
That's fucking awesome.
But
what are the names of those so that our listeners can pick that up?
Casting the Last Stone is what came out last year in 2017, and then 2016 was These Stages Were Made for Diving.
And they can find this where on iTunes?
They are on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Prime.
Check out the Obnoxious Boot, you guys.
What kind of genre is it?
So,
I don't think that was stated yet.
Because best way for me to describe it, it sounds like early Dillinger Escape Plan, My vocal styling ranges from like Outbreak and Madball to
It's like hardcore.
Yeah, it's like tough guy hardcore
Oh, yeah.
vocals, but also with like punk hardcore vocals. And then, like I said, most of my set, you can't hear it on record, but live is about spoken word.
Would you be comfortable with us playing a track really quickly?
Yeah, before we get into that, I need to tell you, you forgot the most important part, which
It's not the most important part.
to me, like from an outside perspective, because I heard that there's a deep meaning on why you have them, from what people have told me, but you have a whole stage full of vacuum cleaners.
I did that one show for my CD release show for that record that came out. These stages are made for diving. So we can get into it deeper later, but I have kidney failure. I found out 6 years ago that my right kidney stopped working when I was 4, and I just never knew. And my left kidney at the time was at 50%. 2 years later, I found out it was at like 10%. Like it had like lost function way quicker. I started dialysis 4 years ago. Made a big positive jump in the Obnoxious Boot, and like one of the biggest things that I like portray in the Obnoxious Boot and that I truly believe in is like every single one of us at like 5 or 6, maybe a little older for some people, but like at 5 or 6, like we all know that we're going to die. But for some reason, it's always like me at 31, like, hey, you're sick and you're going to die sooner than everybody else. Maybe it's time to get in the saddle and do everything that you ever wanted to do. Like, we're all going to die sometime. Like, why wasn't I doing that?
Is that what they told you?
No. What? Like that I'm going to die
Yeah,
sooner
did they
than
tell you something like
yeah,
that?
Yeah, I mean, like, a buddy of mine that ran Little Heart Records from Louisville, he is actually who gave Knocked Loose their first break. But he, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I mean, like, he had the same thing as me. He was just a little bit further along. So, like, talking to him about it, like, really helped me, like, get through, like, what I was going through, because he was the only other person that was going through the same thing. But I think, like, 3 months after he turned 35, because of his kidney failure, like, he had a heart attack and died.
Jesus Christ.
And like that actually probably is what could kill me quicker.
Like an infection getting into the bloodstream or
No,
something?
just like a heart attack, just a stroke. I know normal blood pressure is like 120/80. Mine hasn't really gone below 200/145 in the last 4 years. So like one of these days my heart will just give out.
Is there steps you can take to avoid that besides dialysis?
I mean, I'm on 9 different blood pressure medicines.
Sheesh.
I mean, I guess I could go vegan. I'm already vegetarian.
Would you ever go vegan for the bragging rights?
No, because I really like cheese.
Yeah.
Especially like Skyways at Skyline.
Skyways.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of a Skyway.
1 month a year they let you do it for free, but the rest of the months you can just ask for it. So it's basically your regular amount of cheese on your Skyline, and then you ask for a Skyway, and they put 1.5 servings of extra cheese.
I'm about to come with my pants. Oh my god. My dick is so hard right now. Say that to me again, but slower.
But well, for me it's with beans, so it's not as, I'm sure, as enjoyable for all you meat eaters.
I love beans. There's nothing wrong with like a good vegetarian dish. If we're gonna talk about vegetarian food, quick shout out to Chameleon. They have a fucking solid like veggie pizza. I'm a carnivore through and through, but this veggie pizza, they kill it every time.
They
like,
just have good ass
crunchy ass arugula on it and some fucking steamed carrots. Like they change it up every single time, and it's amazing. I'm a meat eater thoroughly, but if there's good vegan or vegetarian food out there, I'm gonna fuck it up. Like I like good food.
Max Pizza used to have the best vegan pizza. We had friends that worked security at Max Pizza down in Clifton, and we would go in there, and they'd always stop selling vegan, like stop making vegan cheese after 10 o'clock, and I'd like have to like rush down there.
Isn't
at, like,
vegan
9.
cheese like pea protein?
What is vegan cheese?
I mean, you can make it about 12 different ways. I just never ask. I think eat it and enjoy it. Because if it's cooked right, it is great. And if it's cooked wrong, it's terrible. And if it's cooked right and then you let it cool, it's still terrible.
At my work, these people had a food allergy, and they were vegan. Their kids were vegan because they were vegan or whatever.
Gluten.
So they brought in their own gluten-free like pizza crust to my work. They brought in the cheese, the vegan cheese. It's like, I read it, and it's like protein from peas basically. And like you said, it could be protein from a bunch of different things. But it was weird because it looked like and we tried a little bit of it, and it tasted like if you ever chewed on like cardboard before and let it turn into that, like that plus a little bit of salt. It was like
So
little
you're
bit
basically
flavorful,
describing a hot and ready from Little Caesars.
100%, yes, like
Little
the
seizures.
fakest cheese on the fucking planet. And then we
Fakest
cooked
everything.
it, and it looked like shit, dude. Maybe we just didn't know how to do it. I mean, we definitely didn't. Like, we couldn't even use our own sauce. They brought like sauce in these fucking weird packets that we had to squeeze out onto the pizza and roll out, and put this vegan cheese over the top of it, and it like melted weird. Like, it didn't. It was like you could see the texture of the cheese still, like, you know, the little already grated pieces of it. Like, it just, I guess it like formed together, but it just looked like a stack. Like, you could grab it and pick it up like a cheese crust or something. It was fucking weird.
I've had tofurkey before.
Yeah, I have tofurkey every Thanksgiving.
It looks disgusting, I'm gonna be honest, but I ate it and it was really fucking good. I'll be honest. And I had like vegan French toast.
Not
ones
to be
also
that
good.
dickhead vegetarian guy, but if you watch a video of what they do to a real turkey, that's pretty fucking disgusting too.
Still gonna
It
eat
totally
the
is.
fuck out of it.
But I just try not to think about it, you know?
I mean,
Is that why you like besides kidney stuff, have you always been like a vegetarian?
I've been
Yeah, I was gonna
vegetarian
ask how
since
long.
2004. Being raised in the hardcore scene here, most of my friends were vegan and straight edge, especially in the late 90s. I never thought I could go vegan, so I just went vegetarian. Here's my biggest thing, and I always try to explain it to people. If I was born in 1965 and my teenage years would have been in the 80s, when there's like 7 or 8 vegetarian options, I probably wouldn't be vegetarian. But I mean, it's 2018, and when I started, it was 2004. Like, there are thousands and thousands of vegetarian options. Like, there's no reason to actually kill an animal to eat it.
Can I propose a point to you about the vegetarian thing?
Sure.
So with the farming of vegetables, unless you're like farming them, raising them, and like harvesting them yourself, the actual death that goes into like the production of like corn, soybeans, fucking any type of vegetable that's grown, there's ground nesting birds and rodents and like all kinds of animals that like everything that live, rabbits, they all live in these patches. When these big is it concubine or combine tractors?
Combine, yeah.
When these big combine tractors come through and dig it up, they actually I would have to look up the article or the information on it, but they said
kill
that
a
it kills more life per square acre than factory farming does. And I'm not supporting like factory farming. I mean, I eat it because I'm broke a lot of the time and I don't have another choice. And I like meat, and I know that it's a cruel reality of feeding a fuckload of people, 330 million people in the United States, 7 billion people worldwide. I mean, it's a cruel reality, but I mean, the mass farming of vegetables is also like animal death and pesticides and like things that kill like the birds in the area and stuff like that. I mean, there is like a cruel reality to like animal death in any food that you look at.
There's also like plants that have defense mechanisms for not trying to be eaten, not trying to like say it down. I just learned about this today actually.
You talking
and I was blown away.
about the leaves that change their taste for giraffes or
Not
whatever?
only like that, but onions. The reason that onions smell or have that odor about them is that it's like a defense mechanism, because they don't normally smell until you take them out of the ground, and it's a sign to warn the other onions. I learned that the other day and was like, what the fuck kind of alien shit is this?
Well, the reason you cry when you cut an onion is because onions are packed full of sulfur, and when you break apart the cells by chopping into them, the sulfur is released as sulfur oxide into the air, and it combines with the chemical. It's like saline basically in your eyes. It's not exactly saline.
It's really because onions are from hell, and that's where the sulfur comes from.
He's right. That's what brimstone is. It's burning sulfur. But it combines in your eyes, and it forms a minuscule amount of a sulfuric acid compound, and that's why you cry, because your eyes are actually being burned by the acid in the air.
2 last things about this, and then I know what you wanted to actually get into before we got into this. But 1, I don't care if anybody else eats meat, except for when like some 47-year-old redneck comes up to me and goes, "Oh, you little faggot, why don't you eat meat?" Like, I just can't. Like, that's the only time that I've ever been offended by someone.
Who the fuck goes out and says that
Yeah,
to someone?
who goes out of their way to go, hey,
my
fuck
last
you, bud.
girlfriend, her uncle, literally when he met me, and he was like, "Oh, you should," met me at Thanksgiving and was like, "Oh, you should get some turkey." And I was like, "I don't eat animals." And he was like, Well, I hope you get hit by a tractor.
Wow.
What the fuck? I'm not bringing up any of these facts to be like, you're wrong. Or
No,
like,
no, that's fine. Like, I mean, like, one, like I said, I don't care if anybody else eats meat. And two, into what you're saying about plants, if I actually could not eat anything and survive, then I would do that.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
What?
I guess everybody would kind of feel that way too.
No, I love the taste of steak. I'm sorry, but I love eating.
But I also appreciate the mindset that goes into like wanting to protect other life that's on the earth. Like
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Like I
have empathy.
It's a noble thing to like. It's a noble reason to not want to eat something if you don't want to like destroy other life that's on the planet. Like that's a fucking cool thing, man. But I don't want to take that from you. I'm just curious about how you feel about like something like if you find out information about something like that.
Do you go as far as to like hair products, like when you wash your hair?
No, I mean that's like more vegan type stuff.
Well, I meant like because it sounded like from
free?
Yeah, it sounded from why you were doing it. You were trying to stray from the cruelty.
I mean,
basically,
basically, you guys just called me out. I'm just a half-ass vegetarian.
Nah, dude. I'm sorry. I
Gotcha.
don't mean to make you feel bad.
No, not at all.
That's
We were just
not
talking
the
about
reason
it.
to have you on.
It's
just talking
okay.
about it.
It's okay though. I mean, like, I don't know. Biggest thing is, I went veg when I was in 2004, and I came. I swear I muted this.
It's okay. Just keep going.
But
I came.
I swear. Oh, so I literally came home from like a festival in New Jersey, and I was home for like a week, and I stopped over at my mom's, and she was like, "Hey, I cooked meatloaf. Do you want some?" And I was like, "No, I've gone vegetarian." And she's like, "Oh, like all your friends when you were a kid?" And I was like, "Yeah, like that." And she's like, "Oh, this won't last." And
Why are people so
Damn.
shitty toward like to you about these things?
Because
Well,
people want to project their own lives.
well, it's
onto
also my
everybody else.
mother, so she's seen me, like enjoy one thing and then like run out of time and like go enjoy something else and stuff. So I get it, but then also secretly in my head for the past 15 years, I've been like, haha, mom, fuck you, you're wrong.
Dude, how do you feel about we actually have this at my work now, and I've been eating a lot of it. It's fucking great. It's these Impossible Burgers.
Oh,
Have
you work
heard
at
about
White
these?
Castle?
What are those?
No,
I have
don't.
heard about them. I have not tried one yet. They had the other version of the veggie like sliders that came out like last year.
They're not. Ours can be full burgers, or if you tear them apart, they could be sliders. But like,
I'm just saying, White Castle did like last year or the year before. They had like these where they actually just called them veggie sliders. And, like I had a couple of those, and I was like, yeah.
I've never tried those before. But
You know what's the best for me, and nobody understands it, but
What?
in 2004, it was like my go-to, going to McDonald's, getting a cheeseburger without meat.
Just a cheese.
Because I legitimately,
bun.
It's cheese, pickles, onions, ketchup, mustard. But I guarantee you, even if you, as a meat eater your whole life, went and ate that right now, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Like
McDonald's makes me sick to my stomach,
like
so I feel like you're right.
Your mind literally tells you that the burger is still there because the burger they put on their cheeseburgers anyways is like 89.4% soy and only like 6.8% meat.
Really?
These Impossible Burgers, though, just to jump back to it really quickly, are completely different from any other veggie burger I've ever tried. Like they bleed because they've got something similar to He-Man in them. Like He-Man is what gives your.
So are they basically based off like the Beyond Burgers?
I don't
that
know.
Are like in stores?
What are those?
I'm not
Impossible
sure.
and
Beyond?
Beyond burgers.
This Impossible meat.
What
has,
about
like,
Ultra Mega?
Oh, yeah, Master Burgers.
Beyond Burgers, when you throw them on the grill, they bleed.
Yeah, these things do the
What?
same thing. Like they have.
What?
I thought this was vegan.
They've got a radish protein in them, like protein from radishes to give them color, like instead of having to add like food coloring to it or something like that, that like acts kind of like the He-Man like stuff that gives your blood color and like the jelly like substance to it or whatever, and it starts to bleed like a medium rare burger. You flip it over, it sears like a burger. It looks like a burger. It tastes like a fucking burger, legitimately. Not like it kind of tastes like a burger, not like it tastes like a burger. The only thing that ever tells you about it being different is the texture. The texture is very like, it's like a bean burger, which I love. I love bean and corn burgers or whatever, but it's very like mushy instead of like the traditional like meat where you're biting into something. But I like like you said, the options that we have now in 2018 are fucking crazy. Like if you love meat, you have a burger that you can eat that tastes exactly like meat, and it's just a texture difference. Like it's fucking crazy. Like you have 1,000 different options for eating differently if you don't want meat in your life.
And then I have a couple friends out there that are are vegetarian like every day of the year except Thanksgiving. And the only reason they're not on Thanksgiving is because they have grandmas or aunts and uncles that own a farm, and they go out and kill the turkey themselves, and then they eat that turkey.
That's my issue with factory farming, is that people don't hunt their own food. And I wish that I could have more time to devote to being a hunter, because
that'll be something else. I don't know how you feel about hunting or whatnot, but
I think you should only hunt humans.
Humans? And do what with them? Like eat them afterwards?
The ultimate game.
Would you eat a human?
Before I ate an animal again, yeah. Another type of animal.
I had heard that human tastes a lot like veal. Like, it's got that texture too.
Albert Fish.
What? Yeah, personally, we're good.
Luke, I know we just met, but if anybody in this room was going to be a serial killer, I would vote you.
Why is that? Please tell him why.
Hold on, wait. Before I say why, tell us why.
Because of his mustache.
Yes! Yes!
I've got it all.
But also because there's this gleam in his eyes.
He has a serial killer gleam in his big bug eyes, doesn't he?
Fucking mustache.
He also kind of has this weird... have you ever seen Ghostbusters 1? The first Ghostbusters.
Of course.
That really nerdy dude that fucks up and turns off the Ghostbusters thing and makes everything like go back out. The guy that like basically gets them arrested, and he goes in and the mayor goes, "You're a fucking idiot." That's what Luke looks like. Here, I'll pull it up.
Oh, that's fucking phenomenal.
Oh, that's funny.
What was that? Are you talking about the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
No, not Rick
What?
Moranis.
Yeah,
Not
say
Rick
Rick Moranis?
Rick Moranis is the fucking man.
Yeah, he really is.
Because he literally quit to raise his children.
I was just about to say that. He hasn't done shit.
He's powerful.
It is Rick
He
Moranis, isn't
he
it?
does a couple of things. I
That
think he
guy?
did like a Spaceballs.
No, that's Rick
thing for
Moranis. He's-
SNL recently.
No, there's another guy to the left of Rick Moranis.
That guy's dead though.
This guy.
That guy? That guy?
Yeah,
Let me see it real quick.
What is that
He looks
guy's
old
name?
in this picture, but if you pull...
He's comparing you to like a 6-year-old man.
What I'm saying
I
is...
don't look like this man.
He just sees redheads, and he's like, that's all I see
Just
about
type
him.
in William Atherton.
That's what
from
everyone
Ghostbusters.
sees.
I don't know,
Everyone
like-
sees
oh,
a
Rick-
redhead, and they all say they look the same. William Atherton.
Put a mustache on
Yeah,
that guy.
do we have Photoshop or Paint or something we can?
Oh,
Cap-
meme coming next,
Meme-
dude.
yeah.
I haven't done a good meme for the podcast in a while. Oh, shit. All right, I can see it. I can kind of see it.
He's also the dipshit that gets himself killed in Die Hard.
Oh my God!
Everyone fucking dies in Die Hard.
Is he the German guy?
Look
in
at
Die
him
Hard?
right here. He's literally got the eyes.
It's Luke.
It's those big buggy eyes. If you just shaved off that, I'm gonna have to Photoshop this. But if you just shave that beard off, it's straight up
Turn into
Luke.
like a dirty stash kind of thing going on.
Great fucking call.
Okay,
Q.
so anyways, what this was originally supposed to be 12 minutes ago.
Yeah. Anyways,
When I got sick on dialysis, I found my anxiety and my panic attacks were getting worse. And I went over to my parents' house, and I actually started power washing their deck. And I felt like a relief and a calm. And then I went home and started watching videos of it,
of power washing.
of power washing.
There's like a whole subreddit based on
Yeah,
power
yeah,
wash
yeah.
porn.
So then somebody was like, yo, you like power washing? You should check out vacuums. So I was like, okay. So I started watching vacuum videos. I think that night I literally spent like 29 and a half hours straight watching vacuum videos on YouTube. There's so much. There's this dude, Code 1996, on YouTube.
Pull it.
What the fuck are you talking about? What kind of vacuum videos could people be making? Like,
I mean, just
vacuuming up soap.
Sorry, it's with-
He's
Sorry,
like,
it's
what
with
the
a
fuck are you
K.
talking about?
With a-
Vacuuming
with a
up
K.
cheese.
I mean, I get it. Power washing,
Oh,
it's crazy
yeah.
shit.
Here,
I don't
Cleaning
know.
off all, it's like mopping or cleaning a
just
window.
play this one real quick.
It already started loading. Sorry,
Oh,
the internet's
okay,
a
that's
little
fine.
slow. What was the one?
How many? Hold on. How many subscribers does he have?
like
Enough.
40,000.
40 fucking thousand.
And he vacuums things.
He like tries out new vacuums like all the time, like literally for the past.
This one right here.
Is it for like a
That's not a
similar
good
reason?
one. Yeah, I mean to like test out vacuums, but also to like.
Here, let me go back because you already had one that was in the thing that before I'd clicked. This one right here.
Yeah, that one. Well,
This one?
Yep, that one. That would be a good one.
Dyson
You're like,
Kinetic
"This is a good
Science
video."
Canister Big Mass
Kinetic.
Test.
It's kinetic.
I'm sorry,
You
Q.
fucking vacuum illiterate fuck. You
I know I'm a
fucking-
piece of shit.
Get with the lingo.
I didn't go to college, you guys. What do you want from me? I barely graduated high school. How am I supposed to fucking live in this world full of vacuums?
no making fun of this young man that makes vacuum videos.
No, not at all.
Code
I'm not.
1996.
He's got fucking
Jealous.
40,000 subscribers. Why would I make fun of him?
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Power washing porn. I watch that station.
I
Right.
would.
It's not actual porn, guys. It's just power
Yeah,
washing
like I don't actually
things.
like get off to this type of stuff. Like
We're not
it's really,
masturbating.
it
Sure
really,
you don't Q.
it-
We don't kink shame on the bastard.
It really just
welcome
calms my nerves. Like I found out from watching these videos and stuff that like if I was having a panic attack like in like public and stuff, I could just find a corner, go to YouTube, watch a video, breathe, calm down, re-enter, and just be okay. And then I found, you know, it's weird because I can literally watch the same video when I'm waking up and it'll help me wake up, but when I'm going to bed, it'll help me fall asleep. So
Is it like ASMR almost?
yeah. I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean, he's got 40,000 followers, but there's probably like a top 6 or 7 YouTube channels. There's him, there's Vacuum Wars, there's Vac Lab, there's John Rettinger, there's a whole
with all
bunch-
people that can empathize with you on this situation. Is that correct? Like these groups, these.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's even like a convention in Kansas every year to like for vacuums and
No
so.
shit.
So, anyways,
what the fuck?
So I ended up buying a vacuum so I could go to other people's houses and occasionally get paid.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's just like, hey, you got a lot of carpet. And they're like, yeah, I don't have any money. And I'm like, that's cool. Just let me suck up all your dirt.
Please let me use my sucking device. Please.
Let's check this kid out and see what your fetish is.
I feel like whenever I clean out my car and I use the shop vac on the side to clean my carpets on there, it is very satisfying.
Yeah.
So I totally understand and relate where you're coming from.
And I think-
not at a different level, obviously.
I think
but
it really works, especially in our society, because I've met so many other people that are like, oh my God, like I never thought about this. But like, there's so much you can't, like, we just all voted today. Like, there's so much in this world you really can't clean up except for the actual dirt in your fucking room.
Right.
Ball canister vacuum animal model and the Dyson ball multi-floor. What we're gonna do is my big mess test. I have a ton of particles all over the ground.
Was that an accident or is that like did he
No,
throw
this
that?
this is like what people do. Like, they collect a whole bunch of dirt and then throw it down and then
Then
vacuum
vacuum
it back up.
Everything's completely destroyed. Like
Did
everything.
he say that there was turd particles before
No,
it was
just
paused?
small particles or multiple particles.
Wow, Luke.
I thought he said turd. I'm sorry. I thought he just threw like poop deliberately on his floor to vacuum up.
What?
No, but
He
to
just
be,
shit on his floor 9 times, and he was like, "Let's see if we can clean up this dirty mess."
to be fair, why this kid, like, it makes sense for everything. And the reason I guess that he originally started this, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago, is because he has like 6 cats, 4 dogs, 9 rabbits,
Holy
and like
shit.
a whole bunch of other stuff. And like he talks about it and stuff. And like,
Would you consider that an animal hoarder? I watch a lot of hoarders, so I'm kind of obsessed with.
We're gonna get into
I
a
know
whole
some
nother.
animal hoarders.
We're gonna get into a whole nother game right now.
I mean, I just enjoy animal whores.
Oh.
Let's
like
see how this Dyson does though.
Like furries.
I'm so curious about how this Dyson's gonna vacuum all this shit.
Please.
Lots of hair, dirt that's been ground in, lots of hair. So first we're gonna go over with this Dyson, and then we're gonna go over with this Dyson to see how much this one leaves behind, because this one has a brush bar that is air driven.
Do you have a
It
Dyson?
is not a power.
I do. I have 4.
Dude, they're crazy. Those are some crazy tech.
That's
Like,
actually
their
what we
fans
didn't
and
get
shit.
into. So I bought one and I started vacuuming other places. And like, there's so many people now, especially you, with hardwood floors. And so not everybody like has a lot of carpet to be vacuumed up, but everybody breaks their vacuum all the time. I fix like 10 to 30 vacuums a week now.
Wow, interesting.
And I own 44
And this all
Where,
started.
do they all in
from,
like one room or?
at my house.
Yeah.
There's 24 out in the garage. There's 13 underneath the steps downstairs. There's 6 that I'm currently working on that aren't mine in my living room, and then 3 in my living room that I actually.
So is there more to this than just the like the calming down part?
No, I don't know. It's just I was never good at working on cars, like, but
Yeah,
for
me
some
neither.
reason, like, I watched, like, so I'd start watching these that we're gonna finish watching here in a sec, this big mess test, and then it would be like, hey, if your belt's wrong, this is how you fucking fix it. And then somebody came to me and they were like, hey, you know a lot about vacuums, can you fix our vacuum? And I was like, I can try. And I literally took it home and in a day had it fixed.
Is
and
it tough?
No, because 9 out of 10 people literally just have a clog in their hose that they can easily fix themselves.
But instead they throw their whole vacuum out.
They throw their vacuum on the street and they go, "This is broken. Let's buy another one."
And then
I just spent $600 on a vacuum 6 months ago. I'm going to spend $900 now so this doesn't clog. Oh wait, I have 14 cats. Why is this clogging?
And then Q will go to your house on garbage night and grab those vacuums for
See,
you.
I'm not even that bad. There's so many people that know that I enjoy vacuums. I get about 15 texts a night with pictures, and they're like, "Hey, this vacuum's on the street, like right by my house. Do you want me to grab it for you?" And I'll be like, "Well, that one looks okay. I could probably do something with that. That one looks too trashed. Don't worry about it."
Q, I have a question for you. This is
Okay.
gonna go off into the fucking nether regions of weirdness. So, when you were a kid,
I already know where this is
or
going.
maybe recently, did you ever take that hose? You know, the one that like you stick it up to your face, and, like suck your whole face apart, like the dentist office. You ever put your penis in that?
No.
Because I did.
Dude, the fuck, you did it?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay,
You
so
did it?
For
What do
sure
you
I did
mean?
it. I thought it was
So-
going to be like a blowjob, and it wasn't. I thought my dick was going to get ripped off my body. I was like, oh, no, I can't get it out. Ah, and I shut it off right before my mom came in the room trying to button my pants back up and shit.
So
I'm sorry, Mom. Yeah, I'm just cleaning.
I was cleaning my pants. I spilled I was cleaning out the rabbit cage, and I got mulch on my pants, and it got into my underwear, and then
So I personally have legitimately never done that, but somebody was we were sitting in the house for a show the other day, and somebody was like making fun of me for it, like just friends joking.
I'm not
and
making
stuff.
fun. I'm
I
telling
know.
you seriously.
I
I
know,
put
but
my dick in a vacuum
and they were like,
cleaner.
and I was like literally like I was like, this isn't like, it's just ASMR. It has nothing to do with like a sexual kink or anything. And then Christian was like, I wonder if there's vacuum porn.
For sure, yes.
Yeah, I'm
He
sure.
was like,
to
here's
be.
my Pornhub app. Why don't you look it up real quick? And it's literally, I mean, not a lot, but there's probably like 50 videos of girls literally sticking a vacuum hose on their clitoris.
What?
And then like 3 or 4 dudes like just
Shoving
it
up their ass or
no,
something?
just sticking it on their dick.
And sucking?
Sticking it on their dick. Now, the one thing that I did think was funny is not for this video, because this is actually what he's about to be talking about right now, is the like that he can put his hand up to the beater bar and it doesn't hurt. But if you have like a really strong, like a Kirby or like the other Dyson that's in this video, like
I have a
it has-
Kirby.
You have a Kirby?
Yeah.
So there are people out there that will like turn a Kirby on and hold one each on their thighs while like their girl is riding them.
What?
And it's just like the kind of pain that they want.
Hold on. Are you talking about the hose from a Kirby? You talking
No,
about
no,
a
no.
whole
I'm talking
Kirby
about
vacuum?
the whole Kirby vacuum.
What?
My Kirby vacuum is the size of a fucking Cadillac from the 50s. And
Yeah,
shit.
but if
like,
you-
you have to
but-
park this bit. It's
What
got
the fuck?
my Kirby has a neutral and a drive, and I'm not kidding. I'm not making
Yeah,
that up.
but if you
Google it.
if
I
you
am being so
if you
woke to the
take
fucking
off
vacuum
if you
world.
take off your I can't think of the word right now.
the bag.
No, not the bag, but the actual like thing that you push with.
The handle?
The handle and the whole, like, if you take off that, it is supposed to be a handheld 25-pound.
Okay.
So like you're working out and like causing yourself pain.
Kirby's for me were like hard to fucking clean my house with, because like I need to get under shit, and it's so big and fucking it does a great job, but it's so fucking hard to get it under shit. It's got a light on it, like a fucking headlight too. Like you could see under shit. It's
Do you
crazy.
live at home?
I live with my grandfather.
Is it his Kirby?
No, my parents traded houses, and my mom left a bunch of shit there, and it's her old Kirby, but she doesn't use it for anything.
It's like legitimately like the number one on my list right now, because like all 44 of my vacuums are either like curb finds or like I paid like $10 for them or less.
My mom bought it from a Kirby salesman, like $1,200.
Yeah, probably for like
or something.
$2,800.
It was crazy. No, it was like $1,200.
Oh,
it was
okay.
crazy money though. It was a
Yeah.
lot.
So
Sorry though, you said all your vacuums are curb finds.
curb finds or like $10 on like Facebook Marketplace, or like one dude, like he had 2 vacuums up that were like $20 each, and then I got to his house and he's like, I actually have like 18 vacuums. And I was like, I have $80 on me. Do you want $80 for all of them? And he said, okay.
But your ideal vacuum is a Kirby, like that's
Not my
like,
ideal vacuum, but I mean, like, it's the only like major vacuum that I don't have in my collection.
It's like the Lamborghini of vacuums,
Do
if
you-
you will.
I wouldn't say it's a Lamborghini.
What is the Lamborghini in
Yeah, dude,
vacuums?
let's get
I
right
need to
Dyson.
fucking know. Like
Dyson.
I want to see the most
It's not a Dyson.
extravagant designed, like next level futuristic.
So actually, I would say the best
vacuum.
overall vacuum would be a Riccar.
What?
How do you
Dude,
spell that?
You're so knowledgeable. It's amazing.
RICCAR. They're like $700 vacuums.
Good lord.
They're how much?
$700 new, but they're made in Germany.
That
so
one's
they're-
850.
Yeah.
They look old as fuck.
They look like some shit that like your grandmother has to clean up her kitchen and shit.
So that's actually probably a 2017 right
It looks
there.
like an electric shaver.
Would that thing just like suck everything up in my house and
So,
For
like,
$850, my fucking vacuum cleaner better do my laundry or something.
Better suck my dick in the morning.
Better suck your actually have like
Better
a
make me
fleshlight.
breakfast, motherfucker. Like,
There's a fleshlight attachment to the hose actually that comes with it.
So this will work with Pat kind of, because at least Pat I think knows this person. But I showed up at Legends one night for a show.
Yeah.
And me and Brad were talking about vacuums.
Brad Hester?
Brad Sulkin.
Brad Sulkin.
Yeah. And he was like, I was like, and the night I'd been there like a week before for another show, and he had a Riccar, and I was like, hey, what happened to that Riccar? And he's like, oh, it's fucked up and broken. I don't know what's wrong with it. And I was like, oh, why don't you let me take a look at it? And he's like, okay. Sorry, I had to sip on my water.
it's quite all right, sir. We want to make sure you maintain hydration throughout the podcast.
But it was literally the same thing. Like the hose, like it took me 2.5 minutes to undo the hose and like put a screwdriver in there and take all the like hair and stuff that had jammed up, and
Be honest, was there any
it
weird
was
shit
good
in
to
his
go.
vacuum?
No, there was
Was
no.
there any coke?
Any double dongers?
Coke?
You ever
Like,
find a double
sucked
donger
up
like caught inside of a
drugs?
hose?
Wait, Coke isn't drugs or pop?
Is there cans of Coca-Cola
Both.
No.
in the vacuum?
How would you know if there was cocaine in your fucking vacuum cleaner? It would just be
Yeah,
dust.
it'd be
What do you
white-
mean, Luke?
a
A
white
bunch,
powder.
like just an obscene amount.
Like
He's
there was
talking about still
Oh,
wrapped
no.
up in a rubber band and
Oh no, my
Oh
friend,
man, when
my
that
friend
big
Tim
when
accidentally.
that big dust cloud hit me in the face, I wondered why I felt so fucked up.
Yeah, he just like
Just-
vacuumed
just
up a brick
kidding,
of
I've
cocaine.
Just kidding. I've actually been clean off cocaine for 19 years.
holy shit!
Congrats,
Congrats,
man.
dude. That's fucking.
Or it'll
crazy.
be 19 years December 2nd.
That's interesting. So, like, have you ever found any weird shit in a vacuum cleaner cleaning them out? Because I'm sure you've cleaned a lot, right?
No, the closest thing to something weird is so I have a buddy. He actually like runs a vacuum cleaner business where they like go out and like actually service people's vacuums, and his guys make like it's like $65 an hour
What
God
the
damn.
fuck?
to like go out and do that. But like he has clients all the time who just can't afford that. So like there's me and 2 other guys that like work for him that I guess I can talk about it on here. Who cares? Because of kidney, the whole social security disability system in this country is completely fucked.
You got a bone to pick with them on the air?
I just basically not allowed to make more than $1,400 a month. And
Otherwise
if I
you-
make
yeah, that's true.
Otherwise, they take it. Like, so I get my like $1,000 for Social Security disability, and then I'm allowed to work $400 more. And if I work $401 more, they just take that $1,000 Social Security and go fuck you.
I have experience with this.
We'd rather
Really?
we'd rather you just be poor. So
Unless you make money under the table, right?
Yeah, which
unless they
is-
find out.
yeah, but which is basically what I do with that. Like I get sent out somewhere and it's $30 cash an hour instead of the $65. And the weirdest one that I've had, it wasn't even that weird. I got out to this lady's house in Liberty Township. She's probably mid 80s. So I was like, oh, it's probably just a plug in her hose. And I'm like sitting there and I like check the hose and there's no plug, and like beater bar's fine and everything seems okay. And I like plug it in and I'm like, I run it for a second and I was like, and like we had been talking back and forth for like the 15 minutes that it took me to run all these tests. And I was like, ma'am, there's I can't find anything wrong with this. Like, it seems to be running fine. She's just like, I just needed company.
Aw. Fuck.
Oh God.
She's like, nobody comes and visits me. I don't have any children.
Well, I had something similar like that in my old job. I worked at this bank call center, and I remember we have like time frames. We can be on the phone in like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes or some shit. And some lady kept me on the phone for like 45 fucking minutes to have me play Jeopardy. Or no, Wheel of Fortune with her on the fucking phone. And I just sit there and do it because I'm not allowed to fucking hang up on people.
We worked at the same place, and I had so many fucking phone calls like that. Like, people would call in, like, can you give me my balance? And I start this with my spiel, like, yeah, sir, I'd love to give you your balance. Give him the balance. Well, by the way, you can use the automated system next time. Like, please don't fucking call us and waste our time. And he was like, yeah, well, I don't know. So anyways, you seen any good Sylvester Stallone movies? And he just starts fucking rambling about like Sylvester Stallone is his favorite actor and just starts going on. And I'm like, sir, is there anything else I could help you with? And he's like, well, there's a transaction back in May of 2015 that I was wondering if you could go back to. And I was like, I'm going to have to go into your statement history. Give me a moment, sir. And as I'm doing that, he's like, yeah, so I saw the new Fast and the Furious movie. And he just keeps going. And he's in his like 60s and shit. And then it eventually unwinds that like I'm trying to get off the phone with him, and he's like, I know you're trying to get off here, but I appreciate you talking to me about Sylvester Stallone and
you probably haven't said a
new
word
Fast
the
and the
whole time.
Furious. But he was like, my kids haven't called me in like 2 years, and I'm just looking for some company on the phone sometimes. Sorry to waste your time. Yeah.
But how out of touch with reality was this guy really? I mean, how many fucking Sylvester Stallone movies are out there on the market these days?
Fuckload. The Expendables. He's making the Expendables.
Okay, there's the Expendables, but what the fuck else?
He looks like Sylvester Stallone looks like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1986. Like, still at 70 fucking 9 years old, however old Sylvester Stallone is. If you look at that man shirtless,
Guardians,
he's still like in shape and
he
like
was in
everything.
Guardians.
Yeah, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Was in Guardians.
He's in the movie.
Creed.
He's got Creed. He's got Expendables.
New Rambo.
He's got Guardians. Rambo was just announced.
Last Blood.
Dude, he's
That's
in
the title.
fucking 4 movies a
I was
year.
like, I've never even heard of that movie.
Okay, you guys are all giving me an anxiety attack. Let's watch this video.
Sylvester Stallone, man.
Are we scaring you?
No, I just really want to watch this video.
Let's watch it.
Okay, let's get it out. All right, we're going back to the for the listeners. We're going back to the Dyson cleaning test.
Brush bar, which is horrible. So this doesn't
kinda glad
perform
we're
that well on
watching it,
carpets. What it can pick up, if it can hold all this, it might not be able to hold all this dirt. We'll see. I'm gonna fill it up as much as I can until the thing turns on, the airflow indicator. So I'm gonna turn it on, but before I do that, it does have a clean bin. I did clean out the cyclones. As you can see, there is no dust in my cyclones at the moment. Hardly any.
We believe you, sir. You don't have to fucking show us.
Well,
like, I don't think you're trying to trick anybody.
there was a thing, I guess, when he started doing videos, because I've seen other videos from that time period, where people were like, "Oh, you're faking this. Your thing was full, and now it's sucking up all this dirt that's not really there."
People are so
Who
fucking
knew
crazy.
there were haters on vacuum videos?
Let's keep watching.
Dislike.
If there is.
Why would you hate
bin.
on this?
The bottom opening is just for the dirt. You can see it's completely sealed. There's no airflow. All the airflow comes from the top, which is exactly how Dyson needs to put their uprights. They can do the same thing.
I want to see the vacuum part.
In an upright form. I know.
Oh my god, it's so loud.
That is loud as fuck. All right, we're gonna turn the volume off for that.
Well, it's a Dyson, so this fucker's about to be like a different shade of color carpet.
He's going so slow.
Well, that's why.
He's
that's
trying
how
to show you
do it.
agitation. But yeah, you really should go that slow.
Whenever you're cleaning up a fuckload of mess like that, or
No,
like
I mean
all the time.
all the time.
You know how long it would take me to clean my house, sir?
I mean, do you really want it to be that clean, or do you just want it to look clean?
I just want it to look clean.
Oh.
I mean, I actually I cleaned my whole house with a shop vac because I was so sick of cleaning my house with my fucking Kirby because it's so big and obnoxious to try to use on
When
stairs.
you finish with a girl, do you wipe off quick? Don't you wipe off slow? It's kind of the same thing.
I'm trying to get the jizz off my chest as fast as possible. I don't want it just sitting there caking up to my chest hairs and stuff.
I was just
You try to reserve the cum?
I don't remember. It's been 2.5 years since I got laid.
Wait, I'm sure we have some listeners that would love to fuck a man that's handy with vacuums. Any single ladies out there? I mean, he will clean the shit out of your house.
You should actually go to my Tinder because my Tinder says I only like 2 things in this world: eating pussy and vacuuming carpet.
Yeah,
do a lot of people ask you about that?
The only thing I ever get is like women that send me a message and go, "This is offensive. You need
What?
to take this down."
I wonder
What is that? How's that offensive?
I don't know.
It's just funny.
I wonder what they're like maybe they're taking like I like to clean carpets a whole other way. Like what the
Yeah.
fuck? What is he gonna do to my pussy? Like, what is he talking about? He's gonna vacuum my.
But yeah, look how clean.
Excuse me,
Dude, I know exactly what you mean. Where it's like kind of therapeutic, like that. Like I said, the power washing stuff. I know we glanced over it, but it really is satisfying to
As we
watch. It's
should
kind of
have.
therapeutic, or just wiping a dirty table down or something. It's just cleaning can help with anxiety.
Yeah.
I get anxiety, so like cleaning, I clean the whole fucking apartment.
It's the same as like the pressure washing videos you were talking about. I mean, I know a couple people that are really into just watching stuff like get like that grime removed because it's satisfying for them.
Do you ever realize how dangerous those power washers are? They could like deglove you if
Don't
they
put
get
your
on
hand
you.
under it.
Yeah, don't put your hand under it. Get
Yeah,
your foot.
don't hit yourself with it.
I love that fucking term for it, deep glove.
That's a fucked up kind of
It's
word if you think
brutal.
about it.
This is brutal.
If you think about what it actually is.
Actually, I don't remember where it's at. I don't think it's on Pornhub, and I don't think it's on YouTube. It might have been somewhere on the dark web, but it literally showed a dude like pressure washing his dick off. Of
What?
His body.
Oh no!
Can we find this?
If it's on the dark web, we don't want to be looking this up.
Right. God damn.
Let's get Tor going.
Pressure
Little potato
washing
server.
penis
Not-
off.
Government will come for us, bud.
Oh my god. Is this? It's gonna be like some fucking Pain Olympic shit from Will's episode. Today I fucked up by power washing a penis
No, this
on a
is
client's
just
driveway.
everyone that just puts penises on their.
Wait, what's the Urban Dictionary term?
Hold up.
for pressure
I
washer?
read it as he accidentally ripped off his client's penis using the pressure washer.
What the fuck?
Pressure washer, a gasoline-powered cleaning device.
Hold on.
that sprays-
Hold on.
You're telling me that this
Here's-
cleans shit?
I took a ginormous dump yesterday. I had to drink a 12-pack to fuel my pressure washer and blast all that shit off the porcelain. Thanks, Urban
When a
Dictionary.
human male uses his stream of urination to clean, in a sense, the toilet bowl, usually the attempt to dislodge feces stuck on the upper part of the bowl
We have-
above the water
we've
line.
We've
been
all
there.
done that.
Yeah.
Every one of
Absolutely.
us.
Yeah.
all-
Absolutely.
It's one of the advantages of being able to like have all that water pressure in your piss. You can like clean other people's shit off the inside rim of the bowl.
Let me ask you guys this.
I actually feel shitty thinking about that because I don't get to pee anymore.
Yeah, well, let's definitely get into that.
Well, no,
What?
we need to get back to vacuum life,
You don't,
brother.
What do you mean you don't
But-
pee?
So when your kidneys fail, they stop pushing stuff like the extra water from your body and toxins into your bladder. So
You don't
stop
pee
peeing.
at all.
I mean, I presently still have 0.4% kidney function, so I pee like twice a week. But I mean, like the reason I have to do dialysis is because at dialysis they pull fluid and all the toxins that have built up in my body out of my body.
That's a disadvantage. That's sort of an advantage.
Well, dialysis is doing the job that your kidneys aren't doing anymore.
yeah. Do you have like a GoFundMe or something? Because
No. I
like
mean, I have Medicare and Medicaid. And,
I just want to help you.
Is there
okay, but I
anything-
mean, what do you?
I love you
I mean,
already.
thanks, but I mean, like,
Go buy the Obnoxious Boot albums right now, all of them.
Not even that. Just fucking treat each other with respect.
Absolutely.
That too.
I mean, like, the only thing I really, without getting too serious, the only thing I really want out of this world left is to leave positivity on other people. And, like, to, like, literally, like, you don't realize, like, me personally, when I'm driving and I'm at a four-way stop and somebody waves me on, even if it was my right of way, like, that makes me so happy. Or, like, I'm trying to get over and somebody, like, goes, hey.
It's always
Like,
a great feeling.
something as small as that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't realize that, like, you have no idea on the road, like, what everyone around you is thinking. So, I mean, you could, like, cut some dude off and he could literally be like, okay, fuck it, I'm done. Like, I'm going home. I'm going to write a note. I'm going to walk to the bridge. I'm going to jump off. Or, like, you let him over and he goes, like, I think I can get through another week.
That's a very good fucking point.
You never know what battles other people are struggling
Absolutely.
with. Do you feel like that mindset's a product of like going through some hardship, or do you just feel like you've always
No,
had
it definitely is. I mean, like, I was definitely, I mean, me and Patrick weren't that close when we first met, but I mean, like, I definitely think I was a shittier person 10 years ago. I was definitely the kind of person like, this dude just looked at me wrong. I'm just going to swing.
I've been there.
I definitely would like to say that when I first met you, and that was like probably a fucking decade ago.
He fucking
Yeah,
ruined
it's
you.
probably been 10 years.
Yeah, like fucking crazy shit. That's crazy to think about. But yeah, it feels like you're a completely different person. I honestly didn't know what to expect when you came on, just because I mean, small interactions I had, I always try to like talk and hang out, but you're always hanging out, you're busy and stuff, so I never had a chance to really sit down and talk to you.
How did you guys meet?
Just shows, music, playing music.
Yeah. Let's go 10 years back. Were you in Allies Aside 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like, yeah, fuck, yeah. It's already fucking 10 years.
For our listeners, Allies Aside is the band that Pat was in. I'm sure that most
at the
of you guys
time I
know
was
that.
at the time I
Absolutely
was
they do.
probably transitioning from my one band Faceplant 2012 into my other band Left Out. We were probably playing occasional shows. I've also worked at 20
You're at the Mad Hatter.
yeah, but I probably worked at like 80 venues in the Cincinnati area since I was like 15 or 16. We met at the Mad Hatter, but I've worked at plenty of other venues. My whole life is kind of immersed in music, and it kind of all gets lost in the shuffle. So we'll get into serious stuff later.
Yeah.
But let's watch Vacuum Life real
Yeah,
quick, because I want Cody and Luke to see this
Yeah.
video.
I'm super interested, man.
This is the Obnoxious Boot Vacuum Life.
If you guys want to check it out, Vacuum Life music video on YouTube.
Is that the fucking Thompson house?
Yeah. This is the best part of this video.
Ah!
Not that, but this circle pit of vacuums.
I have the shittiest internet, dude. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I tried to get like 40 people to come like before my CD release show, and like 12 showed up, and that's what we had to deal with. And
That's fucking awesome, though. So for our listeners that and the audio, the people video wise can't see it either because we don't have a good enough computer to put the picture in picture. But to
No.
set it up, he's singing into the
vacuum hose.
yeah, the
Yeah.
vacuum hose the whole time, and he's got people at the Thompson House, which is a venue in Kentucky that a lot of people go to. And he's got them doing a circle pit of vacuums. Are those vacuums from your personal collections? You have people pouring in.
So at that time, I only had like 4 or 5 in my personal collection. So those were actually the 4 at the Thompson House, 2 that other people had brought, and then like 2 of my own.
Hell yeah. And they're doing this fucking a dog's worst nightmare of vacuums just doing
Yeah,
a circle
damn.
around and shit. He's singing into the top of the vacuum. It starts with like a top-down view, like a POV view of a vacuum cleaning some carpet and shit. And he's singing on the stairs of the Thompson House while he's using like a dirt devil. I'm sure the dirt devil is not the proper term, but whatever the vacuum that you were using to clean the steps, the little handheld thing or whatever.
It's actually a shark rocket.
You guys, your group, it's you, but I like you and Brandon, I guess, were writing that.
Yeah.
When I heard you guys live, or just you live, I gotta stop saying you guys. But when I heard you live, it was a lot more hardcore than like what I just heard right there. It's a lot cleaner in your video. It's interesting. I never actually heard the recording before.
So, I mean, we do try to make it a little rougher. It's always hard with Brandon because Brandon, like, I've always played in hardcore bands, so I was like, this has to sound like a hardcore band. And Brandon's like, I fucking hate hardcore stupid.
Why is he such a hater, dude?
He's just,
Let's be real. Why is Brandon Mertz such a hater?
he's just angry.
Why is he so angry?
I mean,
Are we
like-
calling him out right now?
I'm not. I'm just curious.
it sounds like you're calling
Yeah,
him
you're
out
like,
right
Am I
why
calling
is
him out?
Brandon Mertz such a hater?
Why is he
Throwing
such a
his
hater?
first and
I
last
don't have
name
a
out there?
I don't have a fucking problem with him. He's always
Here's
been
the
super
thing,
nice
and
to
this
me.
will be the only thing I say about Brandon. has a life that has been hard for him, and it makes him angry. But there are some people that, like, I understand why they would be mad at Brandon. But there's other people that are just like, oh, he said something shitty. Okay, then say, I disagree. Or block him. Or, like, me and Brandon don't agree on anything, and we're best friends. Like, it's real easy to fucking accept somebody just because their opinions are different than yours.
100%.
Oh yeah.
I feel like a lot of people now have this like punishment culture of if you don't exactly agree perfectly with every single ideal and fucking piece of my moral code, then we can't be friends. And not only that, but we're enemies now, and I have to fucking take your job, and I have to like make sure that everybody knows that you're this, that, and I'm like, Jesus, man, as long as they're not out there fucking burning crosses, like I'm fine with whatever dumb shit they think, as long as they're not hurting somebody or intentionally trying to like disparage somebody.
I just want to asterisk that. If you burn crosses because you're in the KKK, that's fucked up. But if you burn crosses because you think the Christianity faith is fucking bullshit, that's okay.
Agreed. Totally agreed. I'm over here with 1,000 black metal bands on my fucking
metal.
Yeah, I'm over. I have like 4 patches of bands that have burned churches down on my jacket. So I gotcha.
Boot has a song that I still play every show to this day. It's one of my favorite songs. It's called "Your Building Is a Fallacy." Is
it on YouTube?
No. Well, I mean, it probably is, but it doesn't have a video or anything cool.
The point that he's making is more important.
Yeah. So I was raised in the Catholic Church, and when I personally found Christ myself, when I was 13, I like found like a loving ideal or entity that I could surround myself around. But then I would still go back to like Catholic Church because my parents would make me go, and they'd all be like, Jesus loves you, but if you don't believe in that, you're gonna burn in hell. And I even at 13 or 14 would start like arguing and be like, Jesus is about love. Why are you trying to scare all these kids into believing in him? Like, he will talk to them at their time in life, and they'll either accept his love or they won't. But there's no reason to fucking... So, like, literally the lyrics to Your Building Is a Fallacy is like, how do you justify what you do, instilling fear instead of hope? And, like, everything about the Catholic Church is, like, the exact opposite of what Jesus would want you to do.
Luke and I can totally relate with what you're going through because we both went to Catholic schools growing up in a Catholic family. I went all the way through high school. I went to an all-guys high school, private high school.
Which one? LaSalle?
Elder. I went to Elder.
I went to Moeller, so fuck you.
Well, fuck you too, dude.
And it's the most important thing for me about fuck the Catholic Church is it's a fucking pedophile ring of child fuckers
what's up with that shit?
Move priests around, and it's not a small
That's been
problem.
going on for a long
It's not a problem in one
time.
country. It's a problem in every single country that the Catholic Church is present in. They shift these people around to different places, different nations with different fucking laws where they can't be extradited. They make sure that these people that hurt children are safe, and I don't fuck them.
Here's my biggest thing with that, because I had a long conversation with somebody the other day, like, how does that even happen? And it's like, they found 3 people that did it 112 years ago and swept it under the table. Then 10 years later, they found 20 people. Then 10 years later, they found 45 people. And then they just kept, like...
It becomes a haven
we already
for these
swept
people.
it under the table. Like, we can't do anything without saying, like, we fucked up 50 years ago and now 100 years ago. So, I mean, like, I don't know. But at the same time, it's what we were talking about outside. Like, I hate the priests that have touched children, but I don't hate all priests.
Right, 100%.
Well, it's like saying exactly what we're talking about. If someone did something shitty to you, doesn't mean you hate like what.
I'll talk about it. We were basically talking outside of like last year at BP. I literally something to do with 5 black people thought, I was white. I voted for Trump in the neighborhood that I was in, and we got into a physical altercation in the middle of a BP. And I had one friend that was like, "Yeah, see, black people suck," and I was like, "No." Those 5 people suck.
100%.
Doesn't matter that they're black. Maybe all 5 of them were vegetarian. That doesn't mean vegetarian sucks. Maybe all 5 of them were Christian. It doesn't mean all Christian sucks. Maybe all 5 of them were left-handed. That doesn't mean left-handed people suck.
That's a very good
I
point.
had a conversation exactly like that just 2 days ago at work. We were talking about Well, I forget how it had started, but I was telling him about how the guy who pressed the button to drop the A bombs said, "I am become death."
It's not the person that pressed the button. You're talking about
for
Oppenheimer.
the Manhattan Project.
Well, so you're talking about Oppenheimer, and he's the one that created the bomb, and it's not his quote. He was quoting the Bhagavad Gita, which is like an ancient, Buddhist text. Or is it Buddhist? It might not be Buddhist. It might be the Hindu
Buddhist.
text or something along those lines. But I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah.
Like that.
So we were talking about that, and he had said why I would have been proud, and I said, why the fuck would you be proud? And he said, well, they were all the enemies. I said, without question, there were people that got affected by those bombs that did not want to be involved, that didn't want their loved ones to be involved with Pearl Harbor, that didn't want to have their loved ones or any war at all be brought to their country. And what their retort to it was you can't have that mindset with war, because if you have that mindset while in war, it gets you killed.
How old was the person that you were talking to?
The guy who said that sentence was 38.
Oh, okay. I mean, if he was in his 60s or 70s and fought in Vietnam, like, I could understand that mindset.
Yeah, right.
I mean, did he fight?
Wasn't even
in
there.
Afghanistan?
I know he did tours.
Okay. I mean, like, I understand that is, like, I went to basic training. I was in the Army National Guard until I blew out my shoulder.
At basic training?
I actually blew it out in high school, never got it fixed, and then blew it out again in basic training. So, I mean, like, I do understand where he's coming from, because his mind has been totally changed, which you have to be a soldier.
Conditioned.
Yeah. So, I get what he has to say, but, like, also don't agree with it.
Oh, same.
One of the happiest moments of my life, honestly, was blowing out my shoulder at...
You said the happiest?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I had kind of gone just to, like, get away. I left January of 2004. Me and my fiance at the time had broken up in August of 2003, and was in that state, like, I was like 20 years old. I was like, oh, I'll get her back. No big deal. So I went through like 3 months of that, and then realized that, like, there was no getting her back. And I literally signed up for the military on December 3rd and left like January 3rd. So, like, I didn't really have time to think about it. I just needed the fuck out of there. And I got there, and I pretty much realized, this isn't really for me. Which, like, I was okay. Like, if I wouldn't have blown out my shoulder, like, I still probably would have been okay. I was actually going to be a chaplain's assistant. So to be, like, guarding the chaplain, and then eventually, like, out of wartime becoming a chaplain myself. But once I got there and I started firing a weapon, I don't ever want to fire a weapon again.
God, imagine, like, fucking firing it at someone.
Yeah.
Though. I've seen, like, night vision shoots of, like, wartime, like, videos and shit, and they are horrifying.
The guy who had said that statement to me, he said that this was part of the conditioning, was that they taught you to shoot in bursts in their Humvees with the guns by counting with this sentence, die motherfucker die.
Yeah.
Die motherfucker die.
Well, here's the biggest thing for me. So this was after I already blown out my shoulder, and I already knew that, like, I was heading home, but there was like a 3-week, like, waiting period. But for anyone that's been in the military ever, most people call it Nick at Night. And usually it happens in the beginning of your training, but sometimes happens at the end. But basically they shoot live fire over your head.
I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was just, like, in the movies.
Okay, so it's a real thing, but it's not a real thing. So it's a real thing because they shoot it 18 feet over your head. But, like,
that's not that dangerous.
But I mean, like, they tell you, like, if you stand up, you'll fucking die. So I mean, like they do that so they can know if you're conditioned enough to listen to orders. But I mean, like, it's really like 18 feet above your head. But it's definitely real life ammunition, or at least it was. I don't know if it still is. I've been out for I can't do math. 14, almost 15 years.
Long ass time ago.
Yeah, but we were doing our Nick at Night, and there had been like an obscene amount of rain for like January there, so we had to do it in a regular shooting range instead of where they usually did it. And there was, in the middle of the shooting range was where like they put posts up, you know, like for your like marks and stuff, and like staple and nail
Target.
Yeah, targets. And from what we found later, there's this dude next to me. He's actually like a couple people over, but one of the shots had hit low enough that it hit the very top of the post, which was like 12 or 13 feet high, and had hit a nail or a staple and ricocheted and hit the dude in the knee, like a couple people over than me. Everybody was just covered in blood. Didn't like, and like,
would have been
as
a
much as that
until he took a bullet to the knee.
Yeah, as much as that, like, the only way that I've personally been able to deal with that throughout the years is the fact that as much as that, like, made me never want to pick up a weapon again, I felt so bad because, like, I knew that guy, and, like, he was 19 years old, and all he'd ever wanted to do was be in the Army. And now he had to go home. And we literally had to get on, like, the same plane. Like, he was from Lexington, and, you know, we both flew into CVG. And, like, he drove down and drove up. Never saw him again, but, you know, he was very emotionally upset that the only thing he'd ever wanted to do, he's now not able to do.
That sucks.
That makes sense. Speaking of military, though, have you ever seen these old videos of testing bulletproof glass back in 1952?
No, is that what we're about to watch?
Yeah,
Okay.
we had this video up a while ago, but it just seems like a good way to talk about it. But people would hold this bulletproof glass in front of them for some fucking reason, rather than just have something else behind it to test. They put their glass right in front of their face, and then they get shot.
Oh my god!
All right, honey. Well, I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
Don't
It's all
worry,
right
it's
up.
bulletproof.
Oh my god!
Fucking
Look at
imagine
how
that.
thin that looks.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's a girl just holding this fucking this pane of bulletproof glass right in front of her face, and it looks like he's got like a bolt action rifle or something. Let's go back. It might not be a bolt action rifle. I can't really tell. It's so grainy and old and shit. But they're
1952.
firing these bullets right at her face, and there's a fucking camera behind her, so like you've got the behind her shot of the bullets hitting.
But why? Why do they have to test it this way?
It's too cracked. Why are you still shooting it?
Well, they gotta prove the bullets aren't going through and killing her.
Just
If
hold
it
on,
does,
honey,
then
hold on.
Back to the drawing board, boys. We killed another one. Delete that. Burn the footage.
She must have been
Maybe
someone-
maybe that wife was being disrespectful to her husband.
or she
Oh, takes
like,
a bullet in the
you
ear,
gotta
and her
test the
doctor's like,
fucking-
she
or,
take-
sh- or she's just fucking nobody. She's just single. They just picked out the fucking no name that nobody was gonna.
Want to make
miss.
$20?
yeah, she gets hit in the ear, and her doctor's like, "Wow, you should try Lucky Strike cigarettes for your ear."
Patrick, you already brought it up. Have you talked about it on this podcast before?
What's that?
The history of the Thompson house.
No, not really too much, but let's talk about it. It's the creator of the Tommy gun. Is that correct?
Correct. It was
Yeah.
created technically a little bit before the Civil War, and they finished the product. I think it was like 6 or 7 years after the Civil War.
It was before the Civil War? They made
they
the Tommy
started
gun?
the Tommy gun.
That's
Started
interesting.
building the Tommy gun. It was supposed to be for the war, for the North, and it was never finished. But the 6 to 10 years after the Civil War, they started final preparations. And if you were a POW, like a Southerner that was captured during the war, and you were given a life sentence, and you didn't want to serve your life sentence in a penitentiary, or in a jail or anything like that, you were allowed to offer to be shot in the basement of the Thompson house.
Like to get killed?
Yeah, like to see how well this gun kills people.
Is that like a real thing with a lot of guns, you think?
I don't know. I just know that's what, not where we play shows at the Thompson house, but the actual basement of the Thompson house, what they actually did down there.
In that house,
building, yes.
They shot people. They had a firing squad.
They had firing squads in the very basement and killed over 1,000 people.
Can you Google this?
You know what? You know what?
What?
You kill one.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Are you serious?
Yes.
You kill one person, and I think that safely denounces your theory. Like, oh, well, I wonder if this will kill someone. One person's dead. Like that's.
Well,
all
then
you
they
need.
make,
No, I didn't
then
test
they,
it
then they
2,000
make a
times.
new product and they see like, did this first bullet kill them, or is it the third or the?
Could you imagine the Civil War if the North did get a hold of the Thompson? Like,
Well, they would have been mowing motherfuckers.
Yeah, that would have been a whole different war. That it would have been completely one-sided.
Can you imagine getting hit by a fucking cannon?
It
back
says
then?
that John Thompson did invent the Tommy gun. He was the creator of the Thompson house. I'm trying to find the part where. Hold on, let me control find some. Would it be firing squad?
I don't know if it would even be in here. I know it's something that we talk about.
Thompson House
1
murders.
in 10.
Murder.
1 in 10 for the haunted house tours that they used to do.
Is it haunted?
Yeah, for sure.
It's
Well, I
haunted.
mean, I don't believe in ghosts, but people who do believe
Hold on.
it's haunted.
Have you ever had like a ghostly experience? Because I had a weird ass experience happen last night.
You believe in the Holy Ghost, but you don't believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Do you believe in spirits?
Yeah, but those aren't ghosts.
Let me ask you this: if you died, would you say that your spirit's gonna look just like you?
No.
Oh,
Have you ever seen Where Dreams May Come?
yeah, with Robin Williams.
Yeah. I'm going to look like Cuba Gooding Jr.
Interesting.
Actually, I'll probably look like my dad, because if you believe what that movie says, then you look like the person you looked up to most in life.
That's interesting. I've only seen the movie one time, and it was kind of a little bit of a mindfuck. What's up, Cody?
Time for we're at an hour 15.
Okay. I mean,
is
how
there
much-
any way we
do you
could
have
put
some
a pen
time?
in it?
What?
Do you have extra time? How much time do you have until you have to leave?
I still got like 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, I
We'll
don't
we'll
have to go to work until 12:30 tomorrow.
We'll probably do another hour to hour and a half, but can we put a pin in this? I got to use the bathroom, and maybe we could.
You gotta
spend-
take a shit?
definitely.
All right, we'll
I
be
definitely
right
need
back,
a cancer stick.
Cody, wait, do you have to take a shit?
No, I don't have to
You
take
leave my
shit.
fucking toilet alone, you fucking monster.
I'll try not to
You
destroy your bowl.
Innocent toilet.
But wait, if I destroy your bowl, Luke or you could get in there with your pressure washer penis and like film a new Reddit subreddit video of you pressure washing the inside of the bowl.
You know what really happens when you don't pee anymore? You just shit a whole lot.
Do you shit a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I shit
Because that's
so
the only
much.
way my body can get the toxins out.
Dude, we need to come back to this.
Let's go right back into shit when we come back.
Be right back.
All right, we'll be back, fuckers.
All right, we gotta remember that.
All right, guys, we're back.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Wait, where are the hoes? Ho?
Ho-hos.
It's almost Christmas, folks. Kill myself.
So,
Dude, all
Right
I want
bef-
for Christmas are my 2 front teeth and a hooker.
Dude, that's a good song.
Sames.
Me too, because my 2 front teeth are actually fake. So if I could have my real front teeth back, that'd be
I
awesome.
got like real for a second there. So have you ever? We're gonna get into the shit talks, but we wanted to talk about this video real quick that we saw. Have you ever seen like graffiti on the bottom of bridges and shit? And you're just like, how the fuck did those motherfuckers get up there, dude?
Ever since I was a youngin'.
Well, this is a video of this happening, and man, oh man, it looks risky as fuck.
Does it go as poorly south?
Let's see. Let's
I
find
don't
out.
know. I haven't seen it.
Oh no.
This dude is fucking
Zero
up there.
equipment.
All right. So he's under an underpass, and what are we talking? Like fucking.
This is
50
400
feet.
feet.
400 feet.
It's probably 50 feet.
It looks
I'm
much higher.
over-exaggerating.
Cause look at this. It's probably like 50 feet. I mean that. Cause look, he's probably what 6. So I don't. Yeah, probably like 10 of him right up there, 60 feet, something
What
like
really
that.
sucks
It's a
about this
1,000.
is just out of range. Like, if he falls, he's not dying. He probably is never walking again, but he's
Break his
not
legs.
I
dying.
don't know. There's an easy. If you hit
I
your
mean,
head,
if you
you're
land on
done.
your head, yeah,
your
but
back.
I mean, like, if you land, honestly, probably.
If he lands
He's
face,
probably gonna land on his butt, shatter all of his bones in his butt
He might
and his lower back, and never walk again.
he might liquefy an organ or two while he's falling. Let's
if he
see.
lands face first or
Let's
on
see
the
what
back of his
happens.
head or on his head at all, it's over.
I really hope
but-
he doesn't fall.
But he's on,
Me too, honestly. But I pick these videos and I don't really watch them.
They're filming him from the bottom of the underpass, and then he's up there just hitting this tag. And I don't even know how the fuck he got up here and shit, but he must have climbed down
He
from the
probably
other side of
literally
the
walked
underpass.
over and then came down.
Yeah, so he's fucking up there, just on a ledge that can't be more than 3 feet wide, and he no equipment, no nothing. He's just relying on his balance. Let's see what happens.
Will he fall?
This is dedication
This
to your
video's
fucking
only
art.
10
Oh, there's
seconds,
another one.
so-
There's two
He's
of
even
them up
farther
there.
out.
You guys didn't notice the
What?
second guy?
No, I didn't notice him at all. So nothing happened, I guess.
How
but
much money is it going to take for you to do that? How much money?
I don't think you could pay me enough.
With the same amount
Cody,
of
I want you to paint
non-existent
something.
equipment?
I really don't think you could pay me enough. It's not worth taking my life into my hands for money. Not like that. I'm
Well,
just so afraid of heights.
Here's why it's really not worth it. I've seen people do that in real life, and it was the only time that I was very happy that I had no artistic talent, and I was always somebody to watch rather than to be like, hey, cops are coming, rather than up there actually painting. But I mean, at the time, if I would have been a tagger or painted or anything like that, I mean, I probably, in that time period, early 20s, I probably would have been like, yeah, fuck it, who cares?
Dude, you said that you shit a lot. Can you imagine having to take a dump while you're up there? What do you do if the
You just shit off
monster...
your
Just
Yes.
lean over and take a shit.
If you are not pre-planning a shit before you go on this venture, you fucked up in the first place, bud.
What if a
Look, there is 5,800 years of humanity before TP is invented. So,
Yeah, they probably did some shit
you
while
can
having
just take
to
a shit up there, and you're just gonna be having shitty pants.
Well, yeah, but
what if
most people who are gonna go on this plane are not just gonna free ball it and not.
No, but what if a gurgler hits you? Your stomach just starts going,
Most
that Taco
people-
Bell is coming up from 30 minutes ago and shit.
Dude,
Most
And you're probably gonna throw it up. You're probably not gonna shit it.
Cody, you're probably shooting
Yeah,
cannons
you're a
out of your
special
ass.
case.
You're a special case.
You're a special case. Not everybody just has surprise dumps. You need to get to the toilet
No,
now,
it's
or you're having
splatter
messy
fucking
pants.
art.
Q, do you have any surprise dumps that you could tell us about?
Surprise dumps.
Something that you didn't know was coming, and then oh no, I got to shit now, and I'm in line at the bank.
I pretty much shit on the regular about once every 2 to 4 hours. Actually, don't have to shit right now because I haven't really eaten that much today.
You said you don't pee that often, right? Did we talk about that?
Yeah. Once or twice a week.
Do the liquids come out in the form of diarrhea ever, or they just stay inside your body?
Only when I drink dark liquor.
For me, it's any type of alcohol.
Or actually, I mean, I'm also lactose intolerant, so if I have a milkshake, I will fucking shit.
they're so good though. How can you give them up? Do you
Yeah,
still
I mean,
you still
true.
fuck with those milkshakes?
What, really good shits or milkshakes?
Milkshakes.
Once or twice. Definitely not if I'm hanging out with a girl, which barely ever happens.
Chocolate chip cookie dough.
Again,
Actually-
find Q's Tinder and throw him.
Actually, that's a joke. I actually met a girl, and I'm actually, I'm still single, but I mean, I'm very much enjoying the time we're spending together.
Aw, that's great.
She's probably insane and on a lot of drugs that she doesn't even know about. No, that she doesn't even know about because she thinks I'm attractive, which means I know she's on drugs.
Oh, dude,
That
I
was
know
an
the
unexpected curveball.
Yeah, I was like,
wait, what?
I was like, what kind of woman are you dealing with?
Yeah, damn, dude.
I don't know. All women are crazy. I've actually fallen in love 4 times in my life, and all 4 of them were absolutely insane.
That sucks.
Does
Do you
that
have any,
mean does that mean that all women are crazy though, or does that just mean that the girls that you're attracted to are crazy?
Both. I think all people are crazy.
I think that's a better way to put it.
And
Everybody's got
definitely
that.
anyone that is around me longer than the 4.5 hours of this podcast would definitely be equally crazy.
Yeah, totally understandable. Well, do you think that any women will listen to you talking about vacuum cleaners and destructive shits, and they'll be like,
So the only woman that I've ever actually met that talks to me about vacuum cleaners is my cousin's fiance. So much to the point where at last Christmas, I think we talked about it for 48 minutes. And my cousin kept coming back to the conversation like, "You're not done yet? What the fuck? Why are you talking about vacuum cleaners so much?" But I mean, like, everybody in the family just knows, like, I fix. So my dad's side of the family, he has like 10 other siblings, and I've fixed 7 of those vacuum cleaners and continuously fix some of those. I don't know. It's just a current thing. You would really think that, like, a girl would be, like, happy with a man that would vacuum. Except for then, like, I have a roommate now. Her name's Norca. She's a female. And I think she is, like, starting to vacuum while I was asleep. And
You shut that shit
literally,
down.
I jumped the fuck up and I was like, "What the fuck do you think you're doing? That's my fucking job. Go clean the bathroom or something."
God.
Dude, can we be roommates? I want somebody that do the. I clean and organize. I love cleaning and organizing and making sure that all
You
my
live
shit
in
is
Coleraine,
tidy.
right?
I do.
That's not that far. I'll fucking. I mean, I won't clean and organize, but I'll come over and vacuum your entire house.
Hell yes, because I fucking hate vacuuming and there's so much carpet in my fucking house. Like, the whole, like, the floor would just be gross as fuck, but everything will be, like, organized and cleanly, and, like, I wipe surfaces down, but, like, the floor will just, like, get dirty as fuck, because I swear to God, as soon as I vacuum it, 8 seconds later, there's toe jam and fucking fur.
Toe
and,
jam?
like,
What the
I'm just like, what the fuck?
I mean, you
Like,
just
how
gotta
did it...
vacuum again.
Maybe you should clean yourself before you
Yeah,
clean the
you-
floor, bud.
I found...
mean, to be fair, I vacuum. I
sick
vacuum my
fuck.
home. I'm only home for probably like 7 hours a day, and 5 of that is sleeping. But I probably vacuum my house like 4 times a day.
a day?
Do you judge? Be honest. Do you
There's
judge people
something
for
to
like
this.
their carpet hygiene?
People think I judge them for their carpet.
Like, do you look at my floor and be like, ugh?
No,
filthy.
Your floor is fine. It's hardwood, and you don't have that many cracks. And for having the animals you have, you don't have that much like pet hair in the corners.
I swept.
Like yours is
I
fine.
tried sweeping.
He knew you were coming. He was like, I gotta make sure the house is thoroughly vacuumed.
I mean, shouldn't have. You should have just. I mean, when we're done here, I want to see what vacuum you own.
I can show you my
Okay.
vacuum. Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't really judge.
Whip it
My
out.
biggest thing is like people. Enough of my friends know that I enjoy vacuuming, so I'll like look around, and like my friends will immediately know. They're like, "Oh, you're having a panic attack because my carpet is so dirty." And I was like, "Yeah, we can just stop that right now, and you can just let me vacuum for 10 minutes," and they'll be like, "Okay."
Yeah, why not?
Let's get into another passion that you have, which is obviously music, the Obnoxious Boot. But I know that before this podcast started, you intentionally took your hoodie off just so that you could show off the shirt that you're wearing. Do you want to show it to the camera real quick so that they know what band is that you wanted to shout
This is
out?
I Hate Heroes. They're from Reading, Pennsylvania.
That's a crazy looking shirt.
It looks nice.
I knew there was something you wanted to get into there from there.
Yeah.
So, as Patrick knows, I mostly listen to like heavier stuff. I actually don't listen to as much stuff that Patrick has played in the past, like Alice's Side, which I would say is like a singy, screamy metalcore band. I Hate Heroes is similar. They're like a modern day like extent of that. I met Nick, their drummer, at a show. We had them at a show at Thompson House maybe like a year and a half ago. And his brother, his name's getting to me right now. Ricky. Ricky's his brother. Ricky also plays in the band. But I had met Nick, and I don't think I played that show. I think I was just hanging out working. And we were just talking about stuff. And like I told him about like me being sick and like trying to push positivity on other people. And like just like at that time I was like really, really sick, and like they were thinking that like I could have passed like in that couple of months. And I was like, like the one thing that I do live by is like none of us, not me being sick or you guys being healthy, are guaranteed tomorrow. So why not live today like it's your last? Do everything you can, do everything that you love, tell everyone you love that you love them. And he's like, yo, that's really deep. And he like walked away. And like I went back to like doing the door, and I was like, didn't think anything of it. And like he walked back up to me like 25 minutes later, and he's just bawling his eyes out. And I was just like, yo, you okay? And he's like, sorry, Nick, if you ended up watching this, because Nick actually follows a lot of the stuff that I do. But he was just like, like very voice and eyes, he's just like, hey, he was like, I just can't put a handle on like how positive you are and everything you're going through. And like, we've stayed friends and we've played shows together a couple times since then. And like, anytime like I post anything negative on Facebook, like he's the first to be like, Q, you're the strongest person I know. Please like remember who your friends are and like pick a step up and stuff. But he actually like made a huge Facebook post about it, where my parents have never been very like happy that I chose the music route. They always wanted me to be like, pick a job where I have like 6 figures. Like my mom reminds me of that all the time. She's literally like, I was like, Mom, I have all these friends and all these memories, and like I'm really making a difference in certain people's lives. Maybe not everybody's, not all the time, but I try. And my mom's like, doesn't matter, you're not making 6 figures, you're a failure. Fuck
What
you.
fucking bullshit.
It's a really
Fuck
important
that
thing
shit.
about
She
you should
doesn't
do
actually
it.
say fuck you though, because she would actually. We weren't allowed to cuss as children, but
She said, frick you.
Well, a lot of parents are programmed like that because that's how their parents were. Because it's,
Yeah,
it's an old,
I mean, like,
it's an old
I
way of living. Like
get it,
you're
but,
raised
like-
to go to school, get a nice job, get married, have kids. Like that's the ideal picture
Yeah.
that all the old
Times
school
have
parents
changed.
want. Yeah, of course it has, and
I
they're
mean, they-
having a
they
real
get-
hard time figuring that out.
they get
Yeah.
that with my little brother. I mean, like he's married and about to have kids, and like, so they at least get that with him. And like, I know she doesn't mean it, but I mean, like, she likes. Do you know who Bubble and Towning are?
Mm-hmm.
So, if for anybody listening that don't know, Bubble plays bass in All That Remains, and they both played guitar and bass in Bury Your Dead. And they originally started in a band. I wasn't in the band; I just hung out. But we all hung out together. We all went to high school together. We all went to Moeller. Bubble was a year ahead of me in Towning, but they both basically are like bigger names in the music industry. And I guess 4 or 5 months ago, my mom ran into them at Kroger and was like, hey, blah, 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 like remember them from when they were kids, like hanging out of the house or picking me up to go to shows or stuff like that. And she was just like talking to them, and I guess they had said something about like, Bob was like, oh yeah, I played, this band and it's on the radio and stuff like that. And like Chris is like, yeah, like I co-own like a cab company, and like I'm always touring, and I'm always either teching or playing in a band or doing something. And like I literally saw my mom like 20 minutes after this incident happened, and she's like, why didn't you make it like them?
Damn, that's real shitty, man.
But before we get into
What the
anything else
fuck?
too serious, I wanted to do this exercise. I've been doing it at shows lately. So I work at a comic book store.
Love comic books, big fan.
Arcadian Comics and Games, 627 Monmouth Street if you live in the area. It's 3 blocks south of the levee.
Check that
Kentucky.
shit out.
I
Newport,
Kentucky.
Kentucky. I live
Yeah.
down
We're
there.
actually-
Work down the street from
We're
there.
actually doing a benefit show on the 18th with acoustic acts from around town, trying to get people to come in and buy comics so we can stay open. We've been open 7 years. It's just been a little rough. I mean, like a self-run business in this economy is just still kind of not the way to go, but we enjoy the people that we do serve, and it's definitely the job I've wanted since I was 12 years old, and I started there about 2 years ago. But Luke, if you could have one superpower, what would you have?
Either the speed, force, or all the abilities of Spider-Man,
Okay.
including the natural webbing with the
Okay.
consumption of starch.
Okay. Patrick.
I'd have every power that every superhero has ever had. I would have that.
That's shitty and a cop-out. Give me a better answer.
Come on, you gotta be serious, sir.
Dude, that's a really tough question because there's so many badass powers. I think fucking Ghost Rider's a bad motherfucker.
Say Molecule Man.
What? Who's that? I don't know.
He's a bad guy, though. You could say Matter Lad from the DC universe. It's the same powers, but at least he's a good guy.
I mean, it's a really tough question. I don't know. Maybe
One
pick
power that
something.
you would enjoy having right now for 45
Steak
minutes.
power.
Steak? Like
Steak
you can turn
power,
yourself
like
into a steak?
pieces of steak that are growing off of me like butterfly wings, and I take them off and boomerang them at people, and it hits them hard as shit.
I mean, I could cut you up
Slaps
right now and cook it and say it's
Yeah, I mean,
steak.
I never run out, so I feed like people in my free time. So I'm like a double superhero. So I fight crime with slabs of meat, wings, and then I feed the homeless.
So this is how unprofessional I guess this podcast is. It's not because of anything you just said. We literally just met today, and I forgot your name.
It's okay. My name's Cody.
Cody, that's right. Okay.
No worries.
Not Corey from Fenrir.
Not Corey from Fenrir or from Nithing. Shout out though. Thanks for listening, Corey. Hope you're
Yeah.
listening. Love to have you on.
This kid looks exactly like you, Corey, except for sober.
Well, he's not always
Well,
sober.
that's fine. He's probably not sober right now. I mean, he at least had one twisted tea.
Yeah, I'm on some cocktail of chemicals at all times.
Yeah.
But
Anyways, what power would you?
I think that so I would go down one of two routes. The selfish route would be teleportation. That way that I could instantly get shit done and never have to like ride in a car again, and it would be so much faster to make things happen that way.
I feel
And,
like I would lose my mind with that though, because like getting in a car is the only reason I keep my sanity.
I have plenty of alone time by myself, but that's my selfish one. I think one it's a little selfish, but like the ability to bring back the dead.
Okay.
Probably.
Resurrection.
Yeah.
Not like
so
Pet Cemetery.
Jesus
It's
though.
a
Christ
dangerous
resurrection.
ability.
The ability to bring back loved ones that I've lost. Like
Okay.
that'd be awesome.
Okay. Somebody want to ask me?
Yeah, what's your
Yeah,
favorite
what's-
Q? What would you pick as your superpower?
So this is the reason I did this exercise, and it's probably going to sound really cheesy, and it really does, because usually it's something I do while I'm playing on stage, so it's like a more serious time period. But and we'll go back into more depth, and then I'll get to the power. Basically, since I was 12 years old, like I've contemplated suicide almost every day of my life. I attempted multiple times in high school and a couple of times as an adult. And the reason, even though like it's still something to me even every day. Something as stupid as like I get out to the van outside of my house and I'm like, fuck, I left the keys in the house. Well, might as well jump off a bridge because fuck. And like I'll try to laugh about it like that, but like that's how I seriously feel. Like anytime something fucks up, that's just the way I've always felt. But then I got sick, and then everybody started like worrying about like what happens when I go. So the power that I've wanted for the past 4 years of being sick and everything is that when I'm on my deathbed and I'm 5 seconds away from like knowing that like I'm passing on, I want to wipe my memory of me from everyone on the planet, so no one has to be sad when I go.
What?
Wouldn't that defeat the purpose of spreading all the positivity that you've spread?
Well,
throughout
then I'd
these
also
years?
have to like I've actually thrown that in there now because somebody brought that up the other day. But I could leave my positivity, but not like my positivity they actually felt in their heart, but they just wouldn't remember who like instilled that positivity into them.
Right. That's intense, man, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever want to forget the people that made these big impacts on my life. Like,
Yeah.
it would definitely take away a lot of suffering, but if I hadn't had those people, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And I feel like the death is a very it's an absolute in life. It's something that we're all going to have to deal with one day, and like it's
Well,
a very
my biggest reason to this day, and even part of this, is the fact that like the reason I stay here and the reason that I don't attempt or try to kill myself, and I haven't for 10 years, there's two reasons. One, because I think it's selfish and I don't want anyone to hurt because I gave up and caved in. And then two, about 10 years ago was the last time that I attempted. And actually, one of my best friends, who is still my best friend, one of my best friends to this day, I literally got out of the hospital. I came to work. He was at work. He like punched me as hard as he could in the shoulder and said, "Yo, bro, you trying to fucking leave me here by myself? Fuck you." And I thought about it, and that's one of the big reasons.
So when I was a kid, when I was 13, my dad shot himself and he killed himself, right? So I've had 11 years as of October 20th of this year to think about like the implications of suicide and like what it means to other people and what it means to the person that's suffering and things like that. And it's, I think just from my perspective, and I'm not trying to project my perspective onto how everybody else should feel, but this is just how I feel about it with dealing with the loss of a parent that I love very much. It's something that definitely is very selfish, and the pain that you're relieving from yourself, you are passing it on to all the other people that love you, without a doubt, which it's something that I'll never like forget or never really 100% get over, but it's something that I mean, it's something that I wake up and think about every day. A day hasn't passed that I haven't thought about it or the implications of it, or like, and I've had a lot of friends attempt to kill themselves. I have friends that have. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of suicide in my life, and after dealing with all that and still knowing that it's selfish, I think that if people are suffering, like on a certain level, no matter how selfish it is your choice to take your own life in your own hands. I really do support people's, like, if they're not even if they're terminally ill, like if they just don't feel like they want to be a part of this planet anymore, I don't think that it's my place to tell them that they have to be here even if I love them. I mean, I want to help people that are struggling with this and don't want to go and stuff like that. I would never encourage anybody to kill themselves ever. I want to make that super clear. But I don't demonize people that kill themselves. You don't know what they were going through when they went in that last moment. You don't know what they were thinking. I mean, I know my dad was taking crazy amounts of Percocets and Oxycontin, and he was drinking bottles of vodka every day. And like my other friends had substance abuse issues. Some of them didn't. Some of them just had fucking mental illness problems. But I can't like put a big judgment on them for doing what they did.
I don't know if I put a judgment on them, but at the same time, like, if we're being real, I mean, there are some people that kill themselves because that's their only option. And there are some people, and a lot of kids, because that's just the way life is, that, you know, you get your heart broken when you're 16 and you think that's the end.
Kids are a different thing for me because it's a completely different, like, when I'm talking about full-grown adults that have, like, made it into, like, full matured adulthood, and they, like, are fully thinking, like, I don't know.
What about full mature adults, though, that are still kids? Like, I'm dealing with this personally in my life right now. I won't say any names, but, like, I have one of my really good friends. He's 36. You know, he dated girls when he was in high school, got a girl pregnant when he was 19, did what he thought was right, married her, you know, raised 2 kids till he was 35, and realized that, like, I don't love this person. You know, I shouldn't have to be in this shitty marriage where my wife treats me like shit just because I don't love her. Gets a divorce, dates out, like, after the divorce, falls in love, dates a girl for 2 years, they break up, it destroys him. And I don't know how to deal with that. Like, I know how to deal with, like, kids that are destroyed at 16 because I went through that. I don't know how, if the first heartbreak I ever felt was at 36. Like, I don't know how to handle that.
Right.
Well, I feel like it's equivalent to having your first breakup at a younger age, because you had that relationship that whole time, so you didn't go through the single phase that a lot of people typically do in that time period from, you know, 16 to, you know, their late 20s or early 30s or whatever, or even late 30s. You know, they date, they have a lot of relationships, they have a lot of partners, they have a lot of casual sex, so you know, a breakup slowly becomes something easier you can deal with depending on the level of connection you felt with that person. Whereas, you know, with your friend who had been in that relationship for so long, you know, and then having to deal with that, he's dealing what he had missed then, he's having to experience now, which is, it's still rough. It doesn't change how raw and how real it is because of his age. It's something he's dealing with now rather than he would have then.
Where were you going with that thought, though? Were you saying that, like, he's gotten to a suicidal part of his life now?
No, I mean, like, he got a little bit for a minute, and I mean, like, just because, like, I don't know, like, it's very generic, but I do feel like you're probably like 75 to 89% of like kids at 16, like, you know, fall in love with their high school first love and then break up and then are suicidal, but at least their parents are around them and at least, you know, they have like a strong structure. Whereas maybe like in your 30s, maybe like he does have a strong structure around him, but I mean, like he doesn't have his parents. I mean, they're there, but he doesn't live in a house with them. Like, it's just a different like way of coping.
Right. I don't know. It's such a complicated issue because even though like I still support people's like rights to do what they want with their body, even if it's like the most extreme part of it where they like take themselves out, like I still want to help everybody that's like suffering like that. And I still like, I've got so many friends that have attempted it, and then I can like visit them and talk to them and make sure that they're good. I've never been like, oh, he wants to kill him, so I'm just going to let him do it. Like I've always like tried to fight for them to be alive because I want them to be here. But I feel like when some people get to certain places in life, like it just almost, it feels like it's their only option. And who am I to tell them that they can't do whatever they want with their own body? It's such a complicated issue. Like it's hard for me to just be like black and white. Here's how I feel. It's such it's more than just a gray area. It's a fucking, there's so many different shades to this thing. And there's so many different facets. For real. I mean, there's just so many different like facets of this conversation that we could have on it. I mean,
let's get away from seriousness for a second. You guys want to hear a funny story?
Fuck
Absolutely.
I don't know how to ride a bike.
What?
Why not? Were you scared to do it, or what happened?
When I was 4, my mom actually still has this video on like an old VHS. But like I was on a bike on training wheels, riding down the street, and all of a sudden you hear my mom drop the camera, and both my mom and my dad are like chasing after me, and I get hit by a truck. Like
you got hit by a fucking truck?
Yeah, not going like fast. It was going like 15 or 20. Like I lived like.
That's pretty fast. Still, like, you're 4 years old. Holy shit!
That's like 3 tons of.
And I've never been on a bike since.
Are you just scared to get hit by?
No, I just never really cared. I mean, like 6th or 7th grade, like I learned how to like skate and rollerblade, and I like played hockey in high school. So like I just skate.
Do you think that accident may have had anything to do with your kidney issues? Because my uncle, around the age of 12 or younger, they had my uncles and my mother have told me this story. He got hit by a car, and he was tossed in the air, and he lost his right or left kidney, and he's just been one kidneying it the whole time ever since.
I mean, they basically said my right kidney just like stopped growing, and that it was defective from birth. Okay. So I don't think it's that, but. There are about 13 different reasons that my left kidney could have slowed down in use. When I was 20 was the time that I threw my shoulder out in basic training.
Right.
And I went to the doctor, and, you know, like, doctor's like, hey, you want to start Percocets or Oxycontins? I'm like, I'm not really about that life.
That's scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Ready to prescribe them, though.
But I mean, when I was this is 2004, so it's a little bit different than the time period we live in now. But like, I was like, I'm not really about that life. He's like, okay, well, you know, take 3 800 milligrams ibuprofen every day until the pain goes away. And that's what I did for 10 years until I finally went to another doctor at 30 that said, what medicine are you on? And I said, oh, you know, I take 800 milligram ibuprofens, like 3 of them a day, and I've been doing that for like a decade. And he's like,
that's not good.
You're supposed to stop that after like a month.
Jesus Christ.
Also, they found out Nexium, which is what I take for my acid reflux, which I don't take as often now, but I was on that from 22 to 32, and that has kidney repercussions. Damn. I mean, there's a million other things.
You said you used to like. You said you were 19 years clean on cocaine and like.
I did coke when I was like a kid. Like I smoked a bunch of weed, did coke, smoked cigarettes, and drank alcohol. But I mean, like I got clean when I was like 15.
So that might not be something that contributed, or how long did you do it for?
2.5 years.
I'm curious. How does a 15-year-old run into cocaine?
You just go to pick up your weed, and
they just give it to you.
And they're like, "Hey, can you make this run for me? I'll give you an 8-ball if you like run this up the street."
People have different childhoods, Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. It's just such a young age for cocaine. Like, it's such a hard drug.
That time period of my life, I mean, like, I grew up in, like, Sharonville, Westchester. So, I mean, like the dude that I would the dude lived like 2 like neighborhoods over, and I'd like walk over there, and I'd be like, hey, I need my $20 worth of weed, and he'd be like, hey, if you make this run, I'll give you a little bit of weed and a little bit of coke for free.
Dude, when I
guess it makes sense.
When I was younger, I thought of coke as a drug that only like super drug addicts did. Like my dad was doing coke, and I just thought like you had to be completely off the rails crazy to be doing cocaine. Got into my 20s, started hanging out at bars. Turns out, fucking everyone does cocaine. I'm like, what the fuck?
You know
like,
what's really weird
this?
to me about that is so at 15 when I quit doing coke, I quit smoking weed for 4 or 5 years before, like, and I only occasionally do it now. Maybe like this is probably the year I've smoked the most weed, and it's once a month.
Yeah.
Right.
Like since that time period. But and like I've gone through like 3 years sober drinking, 3 years sober drinking. Like that's been a constant battle, and I've always smoked cigarettes. But when I quit smoking weed at 15, and like I would start meeting other people my age, and they'd be like, "Oh, you want to hit this blunt?" And I'd be like, "Nah, I already grew out of that phase." And then like I got to like 19, and I started working at a factory at UPS, and like I have like 196 other staffers like on my staff, and they're all like, "Hey, you want to go out to the car and hit this blunt?" And I'm like, "No, I phased out of that when I was like 15." And like out of 196 staffers, like 192 are like smoking weed.
Right.
Age range from 19 to 65. And
Almost everyone does it now.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
wild.
the thing. Like I like literally thought it was like a time period thing. Like I started smoking weed because I was doing other drugs, and it was whatever. Like I liked the way it felt. I don't even know if I liked the way I felt as a kid. I just liked not feeling. And then I grew up and I was like, wait, what? Everybody? And now that like I'm 35, I'm in pain every day. Like there's 1 or 2 days a month that like I have to be like, yo, I have to smoke or I'm not going to be able to get what I need done today. And I even hate that feeling. Like I hate like I have to change my mindset with this drug just so I can like get by.
Have you tried edibles?
I have.
Is that more your route than inhaling?
Well, the one thing about inhaling that sucks is I get sick. Like if I hit a bowl, like if we hit a bowl right now, like I would run downstairs and throw up.
Jesus.
So your only option is edibles.
Dab pens are actually pretty okay.
Right.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
you just getting high, or is it just
It's
like
just
hit the
the
smoke?
amount of smoke that hits like the bottom of my lungs and my stomach and then comes back up.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
So a dab pen like works. For a while there, I was like hitting my roommate's CBD pen like every day, and that was like working really well. And then Ohio said, fuck you guys.
Isn't
know,
CBD still? Isn't it legal now?
No. Well, yes, it came back to legality on November 1st.
I was about to say, like, it's
But-
very recent.
But it came back November 1st if dispensaries bought it from where it's supposed to be harvested, which they didn't start the harvest soon enough for the dispensaries to get the
So
harvest.
it's going to be delayed?
Yeah, so they said maybe January 1st.
Because I thought that there was places right now, because I've been running into people with these CBD pens and like CBD gummies and stuff, and they're telling me that they can get them from these shops illegally from around Cincinnati.
I think you got to call them something else, or
You got to call them something else. You got to ask about them separately because all these shops are still like bringing it in. But like if you get busted, I mean, like it's not a big fine, but I mean, still $120 I don't have.
It's crazy though, because CBD cannabidiol doesn't have any psychotropic like properties to it. You're not going to get high from.
No, the only thing they care about is the fact that they still can't tax it.
They can though. They could if they wanted to. They just
can
don't
if they
because
set
of this.
the dispensary up.
Because of this
properly.
fucking conspiracy that was started in the 20s. Like, they just can't get over this thing. Like, weed's such a benign thing when you set it next to alcohol or fucking, like, cigarettes or fucking prescription, like, Percocets, things that are all completely legal and socially acceptable. Benzodiazepine, the shit that they use to treat anxiety disorder that everybody's fucking on now. That Prozac, that Xanax, the fucking Klonopin. It's so bad, that shit, they don't have, like, a good treatment method for getting people off of it, and you can die from withdrawals. The only withdrawals that you can get that'll kill you are alcohol and benzodiazepam, both of which are completely legal. You could drink your fucking face off all day long, and you'll never get a ticket for it. However, if you smoke weed, which hasn't killed anyone ever, other than like maybe somebody did something dumb when they were smoking pot. But like from the actual like overdosing on pot, never died. There's no fucking like nobody that smokes that gets like brown lung or COPD or fucking like cancer from just weed smokers.
Lung.
It's all illegal, and it's like what the fuck? Like why are we still doing this old shit that's like 100 years old? If you don't want to do it, don't do it. That's fine. But like it comes back to that personal freedom thing for me. Like I just think that people should be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to their body without the government being completely involved.
Well,
They
there's
should
I
be-
agree.
Switzerland.
I mean, I agree, but we have an entire generation, which is basically our parents. Actually, how old is your mom?
44.
Okay, so I mean, there's 20 years difference between my parents and your parents, but definitely my parents' generation that still has 55 years of the government telling you that weed is bad, so they're just thinking like, oh no, you're just coming up with these new lies so you guys can all smoke your green and have fun.
It's a good fucking point.
Right.
It's a
And
baby boomer generation.
I don't even
would assume.
I don't even necessarily like the medical argument. Like the argument for me is it's a Stanhope joke. I don't know if you're familiar with Doug Stanhope, but I can do whatever the fuck I want with my own body, and if like try to stop. I'm butchering the joke so bad, but he's got a shotgun that he's pretending he has in his hands. Clack clack, try to stop me, fuckface is basically the idea. Like it's personal freedom. Do whatever you want to your own body. If your body really is your own temple, why can't you fucking shit in your own temple? Like
Because
why
we're
can't you?
still raised in a fucking Catholic country, and Catholicism has only had one thing, and that's no free will, even though that's what God said we should have.
Oh, I just got a fucking boner from that. Holy shit. Oh.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. To me, it's just all personal freedom. Like it. Oh, you're fine. That argument is completely fine with your mom. Like you guys are just making up lies to do your own drugs. Yeah. Like you guys have alcohol. Like why the fuck can't you just do whatever you want to your own body? For me, that's where the argument starts and ends.
I mean, I got a lot of shitty jokes that I make all the time that would probably be considered wrong, but it's still your own body. Like everybody's like, we can't let the government make abortion illegal. And like me personally, I'm pro-choice, but like abortion's never illegal. Just throw that bitch down a flight of stairs.
Whoops. 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 Oh my Jesus Christ.
I've literally made that joke since I bought my house when I was like 21. I've been like, everyone's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You got a cool basement to do shows in. Yeah. Yeah, well, the real reason I bought this was because there was a flight of stairs just in case anybody accidentally gets pregnant.
Jesus. Well, speaking of your house, though, fucking shows. You have shows in your house.
Yeah,
dude.
Q's Dungeon.
Q's fucking dungeon, dude.
2005 to present day. There is a show Sunday, November 11th. It's Tyrants, Cold Case, Dead Culture, and Boot.
That culture
had-
fucking
Yeah, we've had them on.
rules.
They were awesome.
The podcast will be out that Sunday, so I don't know if people will hear this in time for that. Is there something else after that we can promote?
I don't know, because the winter time we've been trying to like put shows at venues, but that show will be show 215.
Dude, that's fucking
at the house
insane.
in 14 years. Which technically, if you go outside of corporate run venues like Bogart's, it's the longest running in Cincinnati.
It's at your fucking
Have you
house.
thought about doing something like that, starting up your own venue, buying a venue?
I'll never have. I mean, like I pick days that I don't eat, so I definitely don't have the kind of income to open up my own venue.
Let me
That's
ask
why-
you this.
Loans.
Let me ask you this. So you've been having 215 fucking shows. That's
Yeah.
fucking insane.
That's
I mean,
like 12 shows a
I
year.
would consider your plays legendary for the scene, personally. I played
I
a
don't
show
like that.
that
I don't like that word just because people also consider me legendary, and I think it's okay to consider a building legendary, which is fine, but not a person.
Why, babe?
Well, we're talking about the location.
I know, right?
Yeah,
But-
that like it's Q's basement. That everyone knows Q's basement. Everyone I know usually has an idea of Q's basement, or there's people that talk about it.
Some people have too good of an idea of Q's basement, as in like. I get either two things. I get a band that like they played there as a smaller band like 10 years ago, and then they're like, "Yo." Actually, I'm just gonna call them out. So Beartooth hits me up.
Yeah.
Like, once every 6 months and goes, "Yo, we really want to do a show in your basement." Be like, "Cool, come do a show." And they're like,
We
cool.
need 1,000.
We need $2,500. And I was like, how am I supposed to do that? I can like max fit 50 kids. It's like, just charge $40 a ticket.
Yeah, right.
That's
you.
bullshit.
Yeah, fucking right.
Caleb's dreaming.
Well, I mean, they're straight from.
I mean,
like,
it doesn't even
surprise
matter.
me.
It doesn't. I mean, Caleb has played my basement. He played my basement when he was in Attack. But I mean, have you heard that new? They have like a new single that's like actually.
I haven't actually. I haven't
Wait,
listened to the new
Attack
Beartooth, but I
does?
like.
Oh, okay.
No, not Attack.
Okay, I was gonna fucking my mind.
No,
was gonna
Beartooth.
explode.
I do like Beartooth though. They are a lot of fun.
I really like that first record because it's very E-Tit-ish, but I haven't liked the two last records.
Yeah,
like
the first Disgusting.
Yeah,
I like Disgusting.
I understand what he's trying to do, and that me and a guy got into this the other day, and they're like, "Oh, I bet you're mad that all these metalcore bands that you used to work with are now turning into radio rock bands." And I'm like, I'm not mad. They can do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Right.
Like, everyone was like, well, like you could always change your sound and just like put out more radio friendly songs. One, I can't actually sing. Like, I'm not a singer. I've never had a good singing voice except for maybe like a bass 4 and like choir as like a senior. And two, that I would never play music that, like, maybe it's enjoyable for them, but that's not enjoyable for me.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, I really hate songs longer than 2 minutes.
No, I don't blame you. Sometimes it's like a little too long. There's like some metal songs out there like 14.
Dude, Alice in
15
Chains
minutes.
is my favorite fucking band, and once their set time hits 45 minutes, I'm out.
I don't blame you,
Bro,
So what I wanted to talk about this though about your house. Back to the original point. Have you ever had like it's in your fucking house? Has bad shit ever happened in your fucking house from
Yeah,
these shows?
Like, what do you mean, like, bad shit?
I just want to know, like, has your house ever
I've
been
gone to
destroyed?
jail,
Yeah. What?
I mean,
What?
Yeah, I mean, like, first Q of Palooza that was at the house, like, some girls were walking into an apartment complex across the apartment complex that's across the street, and two dudes that were at the show were, like, sitting on the front porch going, like, yo, what up? Like, just catcalling. And then all of a sudden, like, their two boyfriends walk out of the apartment and, like, try to fight these two dudes in the middle of the street, like, right in front, and it turns into,
There's
like...
a lot of fights out there. My old guitarist Raydell got in a huge fight over there. But go on.
Do you want to go there?
I don't hang out with the dude.
Really quickly. Have you ever gotten any like repercussions from all the staircase abortions you performed at you?
I've never actually, as much as I use that joke, I've never actually used the staircase abortion.
Kidding, of course.
Outside of corporate venues, it's the most most abortions.
Dude, I do
have
feel
been
like
held
there are
there.
true crowd surfing abortions that have happened at Bogart's.
What the fuck?
Because I've crowd surfed and like gone too far to the right or too far to the left where the stairs are to go down in the bathroom, and like broken wrists and shit. Like during Guar, like twice.
Yes.
And like, so like, I feel like some girl that like doesn't know she's pregnant, like literally like was like crowd surfing and falls over the side, and then like she definitely doesn't know she's pregnant now. But where were we at?
Talking about things that
Crowd surfing,
Riddell getting into a
abortions,
fight, potential bad.
Yeah,
repercussions.
I mean, you said you don't. Do you want to get into that? I mean, I don't care if we get into whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't hang out with him.
I mean,
If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it, or we don't have to.
I don't have any ill will against Riddell at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I know he still thinks that he didn't do anything wrong. He came to a show at the house. I don't think he played. I think he
No,
just
I don't
came
think
to
so.
the
I think
show.
it just came to the show.
Uh,
I think this was after Allies, after he was in, because I think
Yeah.
he left or whatever.
I think he might have been in Ocean Grid or trying out for Ocean Grid or something like that, or just hanging out with Greg. But
I think he was hanging out with Greg.
he was like standing, downstairs, which I mean, it's a basement. Like the whole room's a pit. And he was drinking an Arnold Palmer, and somebody like kicked the Arnold Palmer,
Oh, dude.
and he like got mad and like threw the Arnold Palmer at a person.
Not the AP, big dog. Anything but the AP.
Was
Not
it,
the AP.
Was it Golden Claw?
But I mean, like he threw it at the person, and the person was like, "What the fuck?" And Riddell said two shitty things, and
I'm sure he did.
got
He's an
pun-
instigator.
and got punched in the face,
Yeah.
and then walked outside and was like, "Fuck, blah, blah, fucking got beat up for stupid blah, blah, blah." And then later I found out, and I was like, "We don't even talk." So
Whatever.
like, I don't. there was probably a 2-year period there where I was mad at him, and I was just like, yo, I see this dude, I'm just gonna blast him in the face for fucking instigating shit at my house.
Right.
But like, at the end of the day, I don't care. I mean, that shit happens.
So you face blasted him?
No.
What's the craziest concert story that you have from the time at your house?
I don't know. What do you consider crazy?
Like,
whatever you consider crazy.
What shit went out of control at your house?
I mean, nothing's really gone out of control at a show. I mean, except for like small fights here and there.
You ever catch people like fucking in your bathroom or something?
No.
Never?
What about someone stealing
I mean,
a lamp or
I
something?
catch like people fucking in my bathroom when there's not a show going on.
Hey, what are you doing in my house? Get! Yeah, I'll get.
The homeless people in your neighborhood?
There is one homeless person in my neighborhood. He gets on my nerves. His name's Eddie. He like
you
always,
know him on a first name basis.
Yeah. Like I tried to help him out like a couple times, and then he's like, "Yo, bro." It turned from like, "Hey man, could I get a ride to the gas station? It's raining." I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." To, "Hey man, I just need to borrow like $185."
I'll give it back, dude.
Fuck
And
out
he's
of
like,
here.
I swear I will pay you back. And then I'm just like, and so now it's been.
Did you give it to him?
No. He shows up like
Fuck
once.
that.
He shows up once every 6 months, and he's like, "Yo, man, like, should I just get like $1.25 in quarters?" And I'll just be like, I seriously haven't eaten today. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I literally can't help you. And he'll start crying on my porch.
He cries to you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was just like, he does really live in a shitty situation. Like, he wasn't always homeless. Like, a couple years ago, like, he and his girlfriend and their kid like lived up the street, and his girlfriend one day was like, "You're kind of boring in bed. I'm fucking this black dude now, so get the fuck out. And you're not allowed to see your kid." So like, I don't know if he's always seemed.
I didn't mean to burp there. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
He's always seemed like intoxicated but not drunk, so you just never know what he's on.
He's trying to forget about his wife getting that good deep dark dick. I mean, she's really getting like just legs behind the head. Like,
but anyways,
getting...
what really did suck about this situation is like after that he's like trying to like get his own place, so he like borrows a lawnmower from his dad and walks up and down the city of Wyoming in Cincinnati, and like, "Hey, you know, like, do you need your lawn mowed?" Like, blah blah blah. So he gets arrested for soliciting.
For the lawnmower business.
For the lawnmower business and not having a license.
So what the fuck
So
is the
then he
man
gets
supposed
thrown
to
in
do?
jail.
Just fucking walks around and asks to cut people's grass for like
he
$20.
He gets thrown in jail and hit with like a $585 fine. So then he's like trying to find other things. So then
It's kind of weird that he would get in trouble for that shit rather than like panhandling.
Dude, I know 12-year-olds that fucking go door to door.
they're going to
and
fucking
actually
juvie now.
Yeah, but have you ever seen that? There was a girl. She lives like down the street from my uncle. Like, she was like selling lemonade, and like I was driving by one day, and there was a cop there.
Shut
and
the
I was
fuck
like,
up!
"Oh,
What
this-"
cold-hearted motherfucker cop goes around and shuts
What
down little
has
girls'
America
lemonade?
No, he would literally-
fucking come to?
Like, you literally could hear him. He was getting loud. He was like, "Do you have a license to sell this lemonade?"
Do you have a fucking license, little girl?
I mean, he didn't cuss at her.
Hey man, this is like the quote that my grandmother always used to tell me growing up. Fuck 12, bro.
Jesus.
I don't think your grandma's that old to say fuck 12.
Yeah, well, I'm just making jokes.
She's old enough.
What does that mean? Fuck 12.
Fuck the
12
police.
is like a 2009 and forward statement.
So, yeah, I didn't listen to 50 Cent, guys.
I listened to 50.
I listened to 50 Cent, actually. I really did. Take him to the candy shop, you know.
Gin and
anyway-
juice, big dog.
Anyways, let's retract, I guess. Crazy stuff that has happened at my house besides fights.
Wait, really quickly, does homeless Eddie know Speedway Steve by any
Yeah,
chance?
I was going to bring up Speedway Steve.
Speedway Steve, the guy in Covington?
Oh, you know?
Ah!
Oh my God, we know somebody that knows Speedway
Hold
Steve.
on,
Oh,
you know
fuck yeah, I
Speedway
know
Steve?
Speedway Steve
The-
because
the-
I always stop there on the way home from the Mad Hatter.
Does he ask you to buy him cigarettes?
No, he just always asked me to buy him a coffee.
Oh, that's
Oh,
probably
Coffee
different.
and cigarettes.
Okay,
it
so
matches.
I used to know this. I run into this black guy in Coleraine, and he used to have a gut sort of out of shape, bald, but really nice, really friendly. And I pulled into Speedway, 2 different Speedways, both times, okay? And he would just come up, and he'd start cleaning my windshield from one of the wipers he got next to
That's
the
not the
stands.
Speedway Steve I know. The Speedway Steve I know
There's
is
2
white.
Speedway Steves. There's this Speedway Steve conspiracy.
We should pay them like $10 to box each other.
Yes.
The Speedway
He
Steve
would do it.
Fastest
Showdown!
Seven showdown of the century.
Speedway Steve Showdown.
No,
He
but
would do it.
keep telling him what you did, Luke. I want him to hear what you fucking did. We'll go back to the house thing, but really quickly. Go ahead.
Okay, so the first time he just talked to me about my day and asked me how I was, and he got to know me, and then it was definitely a scheme, but he was really nice. So so he asked for a pack of cigarettes, so I bought him a pack of cigarettes, and then the second time comes around. And the same thing happens. He cleans my windshield. He talks to me. And it's a whole good experience. He does not remember our first encounter, and he asks for another pack of cigarettes. And I'm like, sure. So he follows me in there, and I get him a pack of Newports. And while we're in line, he goes, "What about 2?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can get you 2 packs. Like, don't
That's
worry."
$10 fucking dollars, dude.
But then as we're in line, and she's like giving me the subtotal for all the stuff I'm buying and his 2 packs of cigarettes, he goes, "What about 3?" Like he tries to shove the door open that much. I'm like, I can't do 3, man. Like,
3.
come on, man.
He tried to fucking
Luke, you
finagle you
are-
to 3.
How the fuck did you never get into a van with a dude in it with candy as a kid? I don't understand. Like, you're the fucking most gullible. Like, I feel like you would just...
I
Here's the best
run
thing.
away from plenty of dangerous situations. I know dangerous situations. I'm just too
Apparently
friendly.
not. You had Speedway Steve talking
He's not
almost 3
dangerous.
packs.
3
He's just
packs
a
of
really good
Newports.
schemer.
Okay, so here's legitimately what I'm thinking the entire time you're telling me this story. How often do you guys do this podcast?
Once
every
a week.
Every week for the last
every week.
41
Okay.
weeks.
Yep.
Sick. So next week, I'm gonna show up with Speedway Steve, and I'm gonna offer him 3 packs of cigarettes to come up here
Big, you
and
remember?
hold Luke down and shave his goddamn mustache off his face.
I hope he does it. I hope he does it. I'll pay
I
for
ain't
one
touching
of
that
them.
shit. That's fucking nasty.
But anyways, back to the house. There was one show that we did out in the garage.
Thanks, Pat.
There was
Sorry,
one show
buddy.
we did out in the garage that didn't work out so well, but the show had been canceled at the Fish Club, and the Fish Club had double booked, and we needed another spot. So I had 4 people living in my basement at the time, so we weren't doing shows down there. And I was like, yeah, we'll do in the garage. We'll figure it out. And there's 119 people in my backyard, which I thought was a lot at the time, but I've had a couple shows that have equaled that since. I don't really feel like anything crazy happened. So we had our 200th show back on June 2nd, and I had a funny incident that wasn't that crazy though. So we ran a little late. I usually try to have shows done by 10:30, and we were running a little late. I think we were on our second to last band, and it was already 10:45, and I'm about to do my feature on a Cold Case song, which they do, and Andrew Egelmeyer comes down. He goes, "Hey Q, the cops are here." And I go, "Oh shit."
Is that what he sounds like?
Yeah. Have you ever talked to Andrew?
No.
Yeah, you have.
Probably,
talked to
dude.
Egelmeyer. He's a
I-
fried egg. He's a good kid, but has a little trouble dealing with society sometimes. But really likes coming to shows. I'm sure you've met him.
I'm probably gone.
But he's like, the cops are here, and I run outside and see a cop, and I run up, and he's still sitting in his car, and I was like, "Hey officer, is everything okay?" Same thing as always. I'm just like, "Yo, is the music too loud? We're almost done. Is that?" He's like, "Hey, no, the music's okay. I can't hear it. I don't care." He's like, "Some dude burned a building down a couple blocks away. We have his description. Can you run into your party and see if he snuck in?"
Interesting.
And I was
he?
No.
Are you sure?
Because I literally was I let him give me the description, knowing that there was probably nobody down there that I didn't know, and I let him give me his description, and I started to walk away, and he's like, "Just kidding, we found him." Woo! She just pulls away.
What the
What the
fuck?
fuck?
What a strange interaction.
But some dude literally there was a barbecue joint down on the corner, and he had literally just I guess he had worked there for 2 days, and they fired him because they said he
So
was
he
crazy, so he burned it
some
down.
shit down.
That's why I don't shit
I
on
think I
Luke
read
because of
about
his
that.
mustache, because I don't want him to burn down any barbecue restaurants.
I'm not
You
very,
shit on it all the time.
I'm not very afraid
I
of
do.
Luke. I think Luke would give me a hug before he'd stab me.
Yeah, you're right. Luke's a good guy, but I love shitting on him for his mustache. The other day, we got into some heated debate about podcast stuff. I'm not gonna go into what we were talking about, but he started listing things, and then I started listing things, and I was like, well, serious point number 1, serious point number 2, blah blah blah. 3, shave your mustache off. You look like a serial killer. 4,
Serious point.
yeah, I just
How many
thought-
people on this podcast pick on Pat for Allies Aside?
We don't pick on him because of allies aside.
Not
we pick on
enough.
him. We pick on him for very different reasons.
Yeah.
Do you pick on them for Allies Aside Part 1, Part 2, or Part 3?
What, like all the different
Yeah.
phases that we went through?
I didn't know
I mean,
Pat then.
Yeah, these guys are pretty new.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
okay.
3 or 4 years.
At least you've turned out better than Andy 6.
Dude, for sure.
I mean, not really, because I'm sure. I'm sure he thinks he's turned out better because he's like making money, playing
Yeah.
music and everything, but he's still a tool.
I mean, it was a rare form. I'd like to say, like, every time I look back on, like, at least the earlier years, not like our third EP, I felt like I was in a different time in my life at that point. Like I grew up or something. It just felt like I lived a different life.
I just felt like I made a post today that was kind of a stab at you because we were doing this podcast.
Oh,
But like
news to me, bud.
everybody got so offended.
Let's
Because
hear
I
it.
was thinking about
what
it.
was
Like,
it?
people were talking, or somebody was talking to me about being on your podcast, and like that, like you can't, like most kids in the 22 to 30 range right now, like all grew up in their scene phase.
Not me. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Have you just been a metal kid your whole life?
Yeah.
Hey, look,
Okay.
Cody. We listen to Slayer too. You don't gotta be a dick about it.
But anyway, so I like it's different for me because I like grew up like when I was in high school, like we had like the new metal phase. So I made that post today that says my Jinko jeans still look cooler than your snake bites.
Yes.
I mean, there was definitely kids with trip pants on, which were the equivalent of our Jinko jeans or
Yeah.
whatever for those new metal kids that were into like Korn and ICB and I know ICB is a new metal, but they all like that same kind of shit
It's similar.
or Twisted or
Like
something.
totally
Tomato,
But
tomato.
Twisted,
I
playing at
definitely-
the Thompson House,
Judge.
January 4th.
I mean, I am definitely shocked that no one made fun of it though a lot on the show because I expected it as having like musical guests and stuff on because we fucking sucked for a long time. And
I mean,
Yeah.
I never. The first time I met you, I was just like, "Oh, here's some kid that's playing in a metalcore band," and like as we like slowly got to know each other just through like small interactions, like I never had a problem with Allies Aside because at least everyone that was in it seemed like they were having fun, and that's all I ever asked from any band. Like okay, let's be real. There's two things I ask from bands: play music because you have fun playing it, not because you think it's gonna sell you records.
and always pay for a staircase abortion. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go on.
And two, if you're not willing to go to a show that you're not playing at least once a month or every couple of months, then nobody should support your fucking band.
Absolutely.
If you only come out the shows that you're playing, then why the fuck? Like, how do you expect anybody to show up to your shit?
There's
if
so
you're not
many
out there
kids-
supporting the
There's a
community.
ton of people out there that do that shit, and it's
I have a
frustrating.
couple kids that have recently left the scene now because I guess they got fed up with me saying that to them. But I'd be like, "Yo, like you guys play 2 shows a month. Like you can't come out to 2 other shows." And the dude in the band was like, "Well, like I don't really like loud music, and so the 2 days that we play loud music are the only 2 days of the month I can actually like deal with it." So
Well, maybe you shouldn't be in a band, stupid.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Dude, the show, when you were in the scene, you're part of a family. Even though, like, I felt like in the metalcore scene genre, when it was out and around locally, there was a lot of fucking drama in there, but everybody was still out there going to shows and shit, at least
I mean,
from my
there's
memory.
still a lot of drama.
Yeah, there's
now.
always drama. When people
Here's-
want to admit it or not, there's
here's-
a lot of competition.
Here's
out
the
there
biggest
for no
thing that I
reason.
hate about fucking drama is everybody be like, "Yo, I stopped going to metalcore and hardcore shows because of drama." Because everyone acts like they're in high school. You don't deal with that at work. Every job I've ever worked is like high school. Every group of people I've ever been in, there's people like that are in high school.
Yeah, you're surrounded by people that you don't have common interests with, like you do with the music, which is
Yeah.
kind of how ironic it really is, because there is so much drama from time to time there. Not as much maybe now, but there were. But like with your work, you're working with a bunch of random people who have different interests. They grew up in different situations. They have different experiences. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of fucking disagreements with them. I totally understand where you're coming from.
I don't think I've ever been to a metalcore show, or I've never been a part of like that hardcore community. Like it's never been my scene or whatever. But I can only speak for the shows that I go to constantly, like it's like a lot of
Power
old school
metal, sludge metal.
You say power metal a lot, but I listen to so little power metal. Like I don't like that's your first go to. It's a lot of like old school death metal, thrash, black metal, fucking like just like
Fucking
extreme
big hair
metal and that
bands.
stuff. Yeah,
Steel Panther.
he just starts hitting me with shit. He's like, like sludge
Hey,
rock. You know, you're a big sludge
Okay,
rock guy, right, Cody?
Well, let's have a real conversation then.
anything by Ted Nugent.
Let's have a real conversation where me and Cody end up just fist fighting each other, since he grew up in the metal scene, and I grew up in the metal scene like before, like getting into the hardcore scene when I was like 16 or 17, like really in depth. Like when I was like 12 to 16, I was just like, "Yo, there's a show tonight. I don't care what the fuck it is. I want to see bands play."
right.
But like I really like got more involved in the hardcore scene like 17, 18, and then definitely like more as an adult, 19 and 20. And it's something that like I've always grown up with. But the only thing about metal kids that drives me fucking nuts is when I'm just trying to have a good time and somebody like runs up to me and punches me in the knee and like, "None of that ninja shit, faggot."
That's never happened. I don't know when you left the metal scene, but like I've never had some shit like that happen. Like I know,
but do kids hardcore dance at metal shows now?
Oh no, that's
exactly
frowned upon.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying like I hardcore danced. I was introduced to hardcore when I was like 12 or 13, but I would still go to metal shows. But then you hear like bands like Slayer and you're like, "Yo, this is a sick two-step part. I'm gonna fucking two-step."
Oh dude,
and then
have you ever gone to a Slayer concert?
yeah, I actually have a song called "I Got Beat Up at a Slayer Show for Wearing an Earth Crisis Tee."
Well, you'll get beat up at a Slayer show just being around Slayer fans. Not beat up, but like it was the most exhausting event that I've ever gone to in my entire life. I've been to two. Their last show ever in Cincinnati, and then one in
The
Columbus.
one in Riverbend?
Yeah,
this past summer? Yeah, I was there.
And I was out in the lawn seats or whatever. And
Yeah, I
like,
almost got in like 12 fights, and I literally just went and sat down and I said, it's not worth it.
the shit that goes on there is intense. I saw kids fucking bleeding, missing teeth, getting knocked out, getting carried out, almost got thrown over the wall of the stairs. It's fucking intense.
See,
like,
but that's also a regular hardcore show, so I don't understand. Here's what I've never understood. So
It's getting spicy in here.
So you have two Slayer fans that enjoy running into each other and having contact with each other,
right?
And literally like, "I'm the bigger Slayer fan. I'm gonna knock this dude on his ass, and then I'm gonna pick him up, and then that's cool." But then you have these other dudes, completely separate, trying to have fun on their own, and one of them accidentally, like their Puma scuffs your shoulder blade, and you're like, "This dude fucking kicked me. Like he touched me. I'm gonna fuck him up." Like that's fucking dumb to me.
I get where you're coming from. I only don't like it because it seems like you're throwing your body parts in a way that if they connect, it's gonna do damage every time. Like if you're throwing your legs and arms in the air and you connect with somebody's face, somebody's missing teeth. If they hit you with their whole body, I mean, you might get knocked into some other people.
I mean, that's
but you're
fine,
not
but
gonna-
hardcore kids are tougher than metal kids, so fuck you.
Ooh, you feel that burn?
I said,
Cody, you feel that?
I said we're gonna
Fucking
fight.
power metal lover. Fucking
Yo, best power metal band in Cincinnati is Automaton.
Dude,
Tom
those are
sounds
my
great.
fucking dudes. I'm actually trying to get Ryan Carney and Kenny on soon, but they're too scared.
There's no
They're too
soon
fucking-
about
they're
it. We're
scared.
I really
booked
don't.
out for
I really
5 months.
Okay, so
There's
like
no
I'll make
soon
jokes about
it.
that all the time, but like, the best way that I can describe it, like, also I'm 35, but like I don't go to a Slayer show anymore and like expect that I can like dance and have a good time without like somebody like starting something.
I'm
What is
not
it-
like a just to be clear, I'm not like a metal kid. Like I listen to all kinds of shit. Like
No, he doesn't.
all kinds of shit.
No, he
Like,
I mean, that's cool. I just wanted, like, I just thought like we could have this
shut
like
the fuck up, Luke.
push-
Slap that mustache right up your goddamn
push
face.
pit
Shut up, lady.
versus dancing argument, just because like we come from different backgrounds.
I
and
know
stuff.
you're just fucking around.
Yeah, but like my biggest thing. So, we had Traders. Do you know?
Yeah, I know
Okay.
they.
So we had them.
They were
at-
just in town.
Yeah, we had them at Legends like 6 weeks ago. So the show did like 185. There's literally probably 115 kids like dancing during every set, having a good time. There's these two dudes that actually looked more like punk rock dudes, but they swore up and down they were metal dudes.
I'm a big part of that scene too. I like the punk rock shit. That's what I was gonna say, but
Okay.
keep going. Sorry.
So they Like every time somebody was like two-stepping, they'd like literally like run in and just push pit right into them and then like throw them to the ground.
I've seen punk kids fuck each other up, so I don't know how they could ever be against hardcore dancing, because I've seen like they throw beer cans full of beer at the bass player, and they're ducking beer cans, and they're up on the fucking bar. Like if you go down to Junkers in Northside, go see a fucking show, you'll see some
I've heard
craziness.
I mean, the best thing in our city right now to meld between hardcore, punk rock, and metal, where everybody it's just a brawl and it's a good time, is seeing a Flesh Mother show. And that happens at Junkers. I have not actually.
Shout out to Automaton and Flesh Mother, awesome local bands. Anyways, go on.
We have a lot of awesome local bands.
We do.
Here.
Stagecoach.
But anyway, so like these two kids just started like pushing kids to the ground that were like two-stepping.
Nerds.
And like I let it go for a minute. I was working security, and then like it kept happening, and then it was another band. There's like two bands later, and like I took the one dude outside, and I was like, yo, man, like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I don't understand why these kids are mad at us. Like, we're fucking push moshing. This is a fucking metal show. And I was like, actually, it's metalcore. He's like, you think Traders is metalcore? And I was like, well, clearly they are. It doesn't matter what kind of show it is.
Right.
I said, there are 112 people in there having fun one way. And there's two people in there trying to take away their fun your way. Like, do you not understand why you're the fucking asshole in this situation? Like, if I came to a Slayer show,
Stubborn.
if I came to a Slayer show and there's 1,000 people there all push moshing, and I'm the only kid dancing, which, yeah, I did that in my 20s, but like I was the asshole for doing that. But I mean, like, don't come to a hardcore show and just like.
My whole thing is, like, I don't understand why there's competition in the first place. It like all comes from the same shit. Like, the punk rock kids have to understand that hardcore metalcore evolved from hardcore punk, which evolved from like that's where it comes from.
We can have that argument too.
I mean, it's not
hardcore is its own thing. Punk rock
it is
its
own thing, but it developed from that scene, 100%, like without a doubt. That's the origins of it. But
I mean,
like,
actually, I would say your current punk scene, especially here in Cincinnati, definitely evolved from hardcore punk and not punk itself.
I would say it evolved from heroin and crack cocaine from my experiences with the punk rock community.
That would be fair enough. But anyway, so I actually like got through to this kid, and he was like, yo, I never thought about it that way. Okay, you know, we're just going to go in. We're going to enjoy the rest of the bands playing. And then I happened to, like, while I was outside talking to this guy, his buddy had actually, like, punched 3 dudes, including one of my security guards in the face.
Oh,
and
great.
he was just getting dragged the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't fucking blame him. What the fuck?
But like, doesn't it all kind of come from the same place? Like that metal or like that, isn't that all the same feeling? Like, why is there the competition? I just never understood that. Like,
I don't know, because everybody wants to subgenreize themselves and like be different.
it's so weird to me. Like, I just like, that's why I'm like, I'm not a metal kid. First off, I'm an adult. Like, I just like, I like what I like. I know I dress silly.
Oh, I'm a
with my-
hardcore kid and still an adult.
Right. No, I get it, but I just don't like, I don't identify as a music this person. Like, I wear my shit because I like how it looks, and like I like the bands that I like, and it's easier than buying 1,000 different band t-shirts. I could buy a $3 patch, stick them on my fucking jacket. I get to rep all the bands that I like, make new jackets, and be creative. I like how it looks. And
I mean, my favorite 3 bands are Alice in Chains, which is grunge, Earth Crisis, which is hardcore, and Kesha.
yeah,
So,
it's all over the place.
yeah.
Speaking of Kesha, did you know about her weird hobby of collecting teeth
No.
and making necklaces? Look that up.
How do
My
you...
mom, she went to rehab with Kesha once.
Oh, okay.
And she told me all the times people would mail her teeth. And, yeah, really fucking strange. Kesha teeth necklace.
Is it Kesha with a dollar sign?
It's,
Did I do
It
that
is.
right?
it's kind of fucked.
She has a bra made out of fans' teeth.
No, she doesn't.
I guarantee that this is all real. That's all teeth.
Yeah, her teeth.
Hold on.
I'm not kidding when I say this.
I
right?
asked
No,
for
I
them
believe
to
you.
send me their teeth, and I got like over 1,000 human teeth. I made it into a bra top and a headdress and earrings and necklaces. I've worn it out.
That's fucking gross. But
prove the
interesting.
I
validity
mean,
of her claim.
everybody has their own weird thing.
It says to prove the validity of her claim, she posted a picture in her headdress, a / crown for a new album, Warrior. And truth be told, girl is wearing a headdress made of teeth.
With all of those molars and canines, kids, I decided to make a bra and a headdress and stuff.
It's not that crazy though. Like I know people that collect fucking like human fucking remains and like crazy.
I mean,
shit.
we have 100 new people every week that are like, oh, serial killers are so cool.
What the fuck is up with all that? What do you think about people like being like thinking of serial killers as celebrities, or like they just like worship these fucking
morbid fascination
murderers?
with the grotesque.
I will answer you as soon as I can get a refill.
I got you, baby.
Because society's safer than ever, and because there's 1,000 shows like Law and Order that romanticize it.
I just think that there's a morbid fascination with like horrible things that happen in the world. Like people are, it's shit that doesn't happen all the time, constantly. So people become obsessed.
So
with
everybody
this weird
really
shit.
enjoys serial killers, but for some reason, everyone has always like scuffed at the joke I've made since I was like 15, and I just said serial killers are God's population control. And everyone's like, no, that's fucking wrong.
That's so fucking wrong.
They're
You can't
fucking
say that.
brought here by Satan.
Yeah, I
Hey,
don't know.
but some of them were.
A lot of them have fucking broken childhoods that like turn them into fucking monsters.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
there's probably more and more every day that we don't even hear about in current society. That
I
are
could be
tou-
walking by
that
them in
are
the middle of the
touched by
street.
priests.
Yeah, touched by priests and they murder people.
I think that's true, but I also think they're now being
Oh my
forced
God.
to go into hiding or to not act at all, though they have the desire because of the type of technology we have to track people and security cameras being everywhere and your credit history following you everywhere.
I think it's way harder to be a
it's
serial killer
infinitely
now.
harder to be a serial killer now than it was then.
Speaking of
I
fucking
think there's
serial
probably
killers,
actually 3 serial killers that are out there right now that nobody knows about.
Oh, I'm
and they're
sure.
all
I'm sure.
probably Republican senators.
Oh yeah.
Oh
that's
no,
pretty
those are
fucking
child
dark.
molesters.
Ted Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz, the fucking murderer.
Zodiac killer.
Besides that one.
Fucking Squidward ass looking. But speaking of fucking fucking murderers, this fucking guy of this video right here that I would very much like for us to look at. This guy, he's selling his home with his wife, and this man came to the open house and put the fucking owner's underwear into his pants. What kind of fucking serial killer would do this shit? Just going into someone's fucking basement during an open house.
Maybe his wife just makes
Going-
him go commando, and he really needed another pair.
But hold on. The thing is he doesn't just take one pair of underwear.
He's got bags around his feet like he's Dexter about to fucking serial kill some bad guy or some shit.
He's going for the ultimate heist of
He fucking
stealing
he
underwear. He takes two. He
He
takes two pieces of underwear.
He shat himself.
I
he
mean,
threw
the
away
only thing about this that I don't understand is it's much easier to just walk into Walmart and steal 2 pairs
He-
of underwear.
He wants
He
that
fucking-
used shit.
He fucking took a shit in the bathroom, got it all over his underwear, and he needed some brand new ones
So why'd he grab two and just shove it down his
to have a
front?
backup. In
People like
case
to steal
there's
shit.
fucking-
It's just a thing.
He's not actually wearing them. One is holding his nuts in right now, and the other is covering his ass.
I don't know. Maybe he just wanted some new pairs of fresh undies and shit. I have no idea. People like to steal shit. It's like even people that are in like really wealthy parts of society, like people that quote unquote have everything, they still like they'll have this fucking like they'll go into a store and steal makeup and shit like that. There's all these kleptomaniacs. It's just a part of like your personality that's like built in from it's probably from fucking looting and raiding for thousands of years and shit, and that's probably just ingrained into your DNA in some point.
Can I go on a 2-minute and 42-second monologue where I fucking talk about of everything that we've talked about today?
Yes,
which
you
has
can
actually
before you finish.
been some great topics. So I have a song called Good Vibrations, which I originally called that because I was listening to too much Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch for like a couple of months.
Oh, wow.
Powerful Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Man, did you ever realize how short that guy is? He's
Yeah,
like,
he's like 5'4" or
Yeah,
some
he's
shit.
short as
So is
shit.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
Also
yeah.
stupid short.
So is Chris Carrabba from Dashboard Confessional and the lead singer of Finch.
It's very weird.
So is Luke from the Bastard Sermon.
Yeah, he's a short.
What?
I'm not that fucking short.
How tall are you?
I'm over 5'6".
Yeah, dude, you're at least 5'6"
Luke,
and a half.
Luke, in 10 years,
5'7" almost.
Luke, in
Yeah.
10 years, when I get the rights to Spider-Man, I'm casting you as J. Jonah Jameson.
What? Why?
Get
'Cause
me
that's what
pictures
you
of
look like.
Spider-Man.
Why not Spider-Man?
Spider-Man can't be 5'6", Luke. This is just a
Spider-Man can't
fact.
be a ginger. You
Spider-Man-
have no soul.
What, he's going to stand on phone books to kiss Mary Jane? How's this going to work, Luke?
Anyways, so
2 gingers.
anything that you get from us today, the one thing that I do want to talk about, I do make jokes, and some people in this world can't take jokes anymore. But life is too short to be as fucking negative as this world tries to act like we all are. We're actually beings that try to look instinctually for positivity to keep us pushing in life. And there's so many, like I said earlier, there's so many things that you can fucking do just to make a positive impact on somebody, like so small in your life. Like, just think about that when you leave the house. Like, yeah, I mean, a joke might offend somebody and stuff, but like, it's gonna sometimes, not always, sometimes you're in the wrong, but sometimes you might offend 3 people and make 16 people laugh, and 5 of those people might have been, like I said earlier, like literally like contemplating suicide later that day. So like, you also have to think about that too. And like, there's plenty of situations where I talk to people and they decide, like, you know, like, or where I feel like, yo, like, this dude just made fun of me in front of a group of 20 people and literally tore me down. And then I look around and I see 19 other people that are fucking laughing their ass off. And I go, okay, at least, you know, we can take a positive out of this. And this person, maybe he'll learn from this mistake, maybe he won't. But at least these 19 other people probably needed that laugh. Now, I'm not saying that you should take that every day, but
It's a very good point, and a good way to probably think of that. People like just saying, oh, they're not laughing at you, they're laughing with you kind of mentality. But I mean, it's better to think of the positive, just like fucking laugh with it.
I mean, people in high school used to laugh at me all the time because I had blue hair. But then
That's what I've had to do every day for the rest of my life since I realized I had red hair.
it's not really red. It's kind of orange. It's kind of like an
Tomato.
Not to shut you down.
Dalton.
I thought you were going to
Dang.
say every day since I grew this mustache.
That too.
Dealing
Okay,
with
since
adversity.
that monologue wasn't anywhere near as long as I was thinking, if you want, crowd or listeners or watchers,
Very few watchers, lots of listeners.
one, if you're from out of town and you play in a band and you're a band that hits me up and goes, I want gas money, I will totally give you a place to play in Cincinnati if I can. Now, if you're a band I've never heard of and you go, hey, we need like $700, I'll just be like,
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I won't say that probably.
Frick yourself.
I will for Q. Q will send you my way, and I'll tell you to fuck yourself.
Okay.
Talk to my assistant.
But
Cody.
there are some really great local.
That's the benefits of the
There
metal
are some
kid
really
community.
great local bands that I want to toss out there right now. Treason, Daywalker, Cold Case, Obnoxious Boot, Flesh Mother, Automaton,
Earthly Bear.
Earthlight Bear,
Put to Rest.
Put to Rest,
Lots and lots of fucking bands.
Grey Friends, We Are As Ronin. Let's see how many bands. Mortuary, although I don't know if there'll be a band next week.
Why is that? Can we talk about that?
I don't think so, because I don't know.
Well,
the
I mean,
actual-
but this will be out by next week.
Okay, I don't know. I guess some members of it were removed. That's why they didn't play this past weekend. And then I don't see without those members the motivation for the rest of the band to play out live.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They all have like families and stuff, so like I get it.
Shout out to Soft Spoken.
Check out Flesh Maggot
Flesh Maggot.
featuring ex-members of Denialist.
Is that really a thing? Like they're still playing?
Drew Krieger. What?
They're still playing?
Who? Flesh Maggot?
No, just like anybody from those guys.
Yeah,
from the
Drew
band.
plays in Flesh Maggot, which is like this grind band that he's playing guitar in, where they don't have a drummer, and it's like just like blast beats the whole time. It's really fun. They played one show so far at my house. It was like 9 minutes.
Yeah.
He literally, Waffles is like the singer. He literally just makes dog noises the whole time.
What? Like barking noises?
No, like.
There's a couple bands that I want to shout out. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Funny Bunch.
They were a funny bunch.
Coolio. I want to give Coolio his
LL
props.
Cool J.
Poison.
Weird Al Yankovic.
And Green Day, of course, everyone's favorite punk rock band.
Yeah.
There are other great bands though here in town. Also, Jeffrey Donger. which is a sweet name that you guys should probably rep
They're a
more. 'Cause
grind
that's
band.
definitely-
Vermint.
Yeah.
Vermint is great. God, why am I drawing a blank right now?
Jeffrey
Dude, it's
Dahmer
like
is like
so
a
on the
good power
spot.
violence band. If you like
Jungle
power
Rot?
violence and grind,
What?
they're great.
Jungle Rod is not local.
They're not local. I
No.
don't fucking know.
They played a
I like
show-
their logo.
They played a show with Vermint and Faith Extractor. Faith Extractor is another good one from the local scene.
Are they local? I see them all the time, but like I've never actually seen them, so I don't know who's in that band.
Believe they're local because I've seen them at so many shows recently that I just
Yeah.
like I have to assume they are. More local shit. Nithing, check them out. They're like a really good
Fuck yeah.
black and death metal band that I enjoy a lot from the local area.
The Alliance just came back. I played a reunion show with them and
That's interesting.
Gangrene.
Pilot Around the Stars. I mean,
Um,
I guess the list could go on. There's
Split the Abyss, check them out. We're gonna have Woody on in January. Check out
Yeah.
Split the Abyss. They're a great local band.
Automaton, you should come the fuck on the show and quit being a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, Ryan specifically.
Ryan
Dead-
Carney.
Ryan Carney.
Dead Culture we already dropped, but they're a sick band and they're doing
Mhm.
a lot of bigger things. Although,
Good for them. They sound really fucking good.
yeah, they're starting to hit that. Like, oh, we want to play shows out of town and not here at home.
Every band gets to that.
Drew,
point.
if you're listening to this, you need to make
Soft-spoken, though, yeah.
an entirely dedicated album to your punk goes metal or pop goes metal. You need to make an entire solo album of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll
Dude.
take your word for that, Luke.
Dude, this was such a good fucking episode. I had so much fun. Like, I never thought I would get a chance to, like, sit down and get to know you, and I'm glad that you came by, and I felt like we got pretty deep and emotional there for a moment.
It was great, Q. Thank you so much, man.
I also learned
It was
a
a pleasure.
fuck ton about vacuums. That was very interesting.
Dude, I could come on here and do a 2.5 hour podcast on just vacuums as like a Thursday, like in a couple months.
Is there, like, what's the best vacuum? Like, what's your dream
My
vacuum?
favorite vacuum, I actually had one and it blew up a couple weeks ago. But
Like
my
fire?
Yeah, but
What?
it was my Dyson. It was my Dyson DC-28. It's just got like one of the stronger beta bars. When it
Purred
came
like a
out, it was
kitten.
only like a $300 instead of like $700 or $800 like most new Dysons.
What were you vacuuming? Nitroglycerin?
Yes.
How does it explode into flames? I don't understand.
Actually, I was just sitting at Legends vacuuming up all that cocaine.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot there. But, dude, you got a lot of passion, and it definitely shows with your music. Thank you so much for coming on.
Can
You're
I
deep
say?
as
Can
fuck.
I say one more thing?
Yeah.
So, not to get too deep,
Let's get
right
deep.
before the end, but everybody. Some days I don't think about the fact that I'm sick until somebody goes, "Yo, man, you're kind of doing too much for being sick." And honestly, the biggest thing is like I've stepped up and done what I've done for the past however many years just because no one else would. And everyone's like, yo, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? What can I do to help? Just step up and hand out a flyer to your show. Bring people to shows. Get people to enjoy. I mean, like, I understand, especially, like, it is kind of rough sometimes. Like, you don't have to be a part of the scene, but, like, even if you never plan on coming to a show, like, I share flyers all the time. Just share it.
Yeah, share the fucking local
check
music.
out a band.
Support your local scene, no matter what kind of art they do.
And I mean, there's no
YouTube, fucking comedians.
There's no show that I personally ever do that doesn't have a touring band. Like, I don't understand the point of all local shows.
Mhm.
Like, the only thing to me that local bands, and this is me personally, nobody has to agree with me on that, but local bands should promote and pick up and bring people so that touring band can get to the next point.
Fuck yeah.
And then when like Rig Time opened the Earth Laid Bear show the other day, and then when Earth Laid Bear needs a show in La Crosse, Wisconsin, where Rig Time is from, they can go like, hey, you know, like, you opened, and Brian from Rig Time feels the same way as me, and he'd be like, yeah, let me see what I can do. We'll get you a show here. And if it actually worked like that, then we'd have one connected scene from fucking ocean to ocean, and we'd all be able to at least survive.
I wish
great
it
message
would
to end
be
on.
like that, you know.
Then people get greedy and people get mad and people get angry, and even I do that sometimes, and I go like, I say stupid shit like, fuck you, get out of my scene, stuff I shouldn't even say. Like,
Frick you.
Nobody ever, and it's all of our scene. Like, we're all a part of it. But at the same time, if you like just do nothing but bring it down, then why should you be allowed to take away the good aspects of it?
That makes complete sense.
It's a great way to end it, man.
Yeah.
Listeners, check out The Obnoxious Boot. Go support Q and his upcoming shows. Go like it for the upcoming events, anything that's coming in the future.
Buy a shirt.
Buy a shirt, buy the albums. Check out the music video on YouTube. Check them out on iTunes, on Spotify. As always, listen to Joey O'Neill's podcast, the Shit Talking Cunts, or the STC podcast on iTunes or anywhere that you can get podcasts, and his wife's podcast, BTC, or Between the Covers, where they break down different romance novels and stuff like that. Anything else we need to shout out or support before we end this fucking thing?
Join the fucking Bastard Sermon podcast group on Facebook and sense the out of control fucking fans that we cannot do anything about, and you'll see the horrible things that will haunt your nightmares.
We've
in a
lost
good way.
complete control.
Yeah,
of that
we have
page.
no control. There's borderline porn on there. So if you want borderline porn on your Facebook,
shit pictures.
Give
fucking-
the person next to you a hug,
yeah,
and if you have consent, finger their butthole.
yeah,
Great way
there
to
you
end this
go.
fucking
See ya,
thing.
folks.
Thanks for coming. See ya. Till next week.